start the stream, make sure that it can be seen. And once it can be seen, I will take the link. Where do I even find? Every time I do this, I'm like trying to always look for the link. There we go. Video link. Dump it onto here. And then dump it into the fan core just in case they care, but they probably don't, and not that they can really see it, but that's okay. Um, what do you even call this? Not discussion board. What is it called? Where you do the posting? Forum? Okay, yeah. I don't know. Okay, there we go. And hello, Electro Bento. Oh, hey, Bento. I didn't realize you're Electro Bento. I thought you were just Bento, but okay. I'm just trying to make sure everything's situated before we get started. I know it's like annoying every time I do this. Let's see. Let's see. I can be heard. Can you talk real quick? Um, okay, you're not getting heard. Let's see. And um, let's try it again. Talk for me.
All right. Test, test.
Okay, they can hear you. I'm pretty
All
sure.
right, all good.
I'm gonna have Bento just double check. Bento, could you hear Red? Give me like a thumbs up or something, and then we'll get started once I get a response from you to make sure he can be
Yeah.
heard by the stream.
Don't want to sound like you're talking to yourself this whole time.
Can hear Red. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if they can't, that'd be dumb. Okay. So I did rush the put together with Red to get the tier list going. Because I didn't remember if I had Duca on La Diva on my tier list or not for EN, but apparently I did. But we should at least push these guys out. So we're gonna go all the way to. We're planning to. You guys can see the stream there. It's on that side. I'm just gonna double check. You guys can actually. Yeah, you guys can see it. Okay. We're gonna go all the way to Wakki minions. Yes, there's going to be Yanagi and Yotsuha and whatever like right afterwards. I understand. It's just that there's a long list of really good units coming up, and so there's not a real good stopping point. So this is just going to be the stopping point for now. And of course, just note that we are going to be rating these depending on what is going to be available at the time of what we can see right now on the list, rather than um, like, oh, what's going to be in JP? Because if you wanted that we already have a list for that, which is right here. So um, just fret not. If you really want to look at JP, this is where it is. Don't like always look at EN to be like, hey, this is generally where things are now, or if they aren't out yet, cough cough, Mua 2 and Yotsuha 2, where the heck are they? Then of course, like, just reflect to this list here. Um, but yeah, to get started, we'll open up with Diva, right? Oh, I keep with Diva real quick because she is on the upcoming banner, and I just want to talk about one important factor straight up before we get started. Should I say? I've seen a lot of discussions from EN players, and I just talked with Red just earlier, so he kind of like backed me up on this and stuff about talking about like, hey, how important is this LB3? We see, oh yeah, like self reduction costs SP2, LB3. Should we be pushing for that with SS stones or like SS shards or not? Like that is a discussion that gets put up. If you haven't looked at JP, you'll notice two things. During this era, most people did not have her LB3. In fact, I also did not have her LB3. So I'm talking to everyone here from a non LB3 perspective. I did LB3 her eventually um, because of what I'm about to talk about, but at the same time, I don't think personally you need to have her LB3. But to put JP context before is I need to talk about how Admiral Aoi is a factor. So because she's been out for I think it was like 2 months before Diva was out, and how she was put on pretty much on any team with even Duka herself. Um, this made it like a discussion thing to note that the passive that Admiral Aoi gives at LB1, which is reducing SP cost by 1, does not actually stack with this passive. Any passive that lowers or increases SP cost, the stronger one will win, but one will be the additional and one will be the lower one. So if it's lowering SP cost, the stronger of the two will be prevalent. In this case, it'll be this LB3, which is lower by 2 versus always lower by 1. So if you did have both of these units, especially in JP, um, you would actually only see a reduction of SP of 1 on Diva rather than 2 that you expected if you had Aoi Admiral on your team. So that's something I just wanted to go over um, before we dive in, because I think it's a very common topic and very a thing that people like think about and ask, especially in the chord. So that I've seen. So yeah, just spread the word if people are wondering. Um, that's kind of a thing to think about. But I don't think you need the cost reduction unless two things. Number one, she's your main damage dealer. If you're planning on using her as a main damage dealer, you will probably want her to be LB3, not just because of stats, but this lowering cost by 2 becomes compounding. Once you use a 14 SP skill for this, you'll need a 7 SP for here. Before that, you'll need 5 SP twice, and lastly, you'll need her 14 SP ult. So that's approximately what 1, 2, 3, 4 skills. So that -2 SP ends up being -8 SP. So think of it in that boat, if you will. If you want her damage dealer, LB3 is kind of recommended. Um, Not required, really highly recommended. And the other way that she's recommended this early to be LB3 is if you are planning to use her in a loop team, which is usually a fire loop team, which also usually she's the main damage dealer. So depending on that factor, yes, you should LB3 her or not. But for most occasions, especially this early on and before Admiral Yanagi era, you really do not need her to be LB3. So if anyone asks, that's what you should say. That's just how it is, right? Um, so yeah, Red, let's dive in. Um,
All right.
I think I don't know how I want to move around with this. Should we try to place in not this list. Should we excuse me. Try to place in our new friends and then lower everyone accordingly, or how do you want to dive in with this one?
I think it would probably make more sense to lower them first, because if we put
Lower
the
them
new units
first?
in and compare them to who's currently there, then
Because
who's
we
currently
can
there
lower
might change
everyone
later.
and then raise them as we see fit after
Yeah.
we place the new guys. Okay, let's start with that. So we're just gonna lower everyone, and then we will move according to that. Okay, there we go. Uh, don't mind the space. We'll leave it at this. Okay, so like before, I'm introducing, making sure everyone knows this list is meant for Limit Break 1, and you own all the memoria for that character. So if we're talking about um SS5 Ruka Diva, we're expecting you to have every single version of her um, for this list. Granted, if it's a big deal to not have a certain part, I will do my best to incorporate. So right here it says with SS1, and down here it says without SS1. I'll try to incorporate those as best as I can. But at this point, especially if it's SS1, you should expect to just have them and get them through either green tickets, or you can select them through um, what's it called an EN for conquest. Uh,
I don't know what that
Suppression. That's right, right? Suppression, was that what's called? Suppression.
suppression mission, yeah.
Yeah. So suppression missions, do those, and to select these SS1s. They're kind of expected that you have them at this point. Um, we may start changing after this rotation, changing it like JP, where we currently have all SS1s that are not really mattering as alone things to be removed from the list. Just because it's just too big and doesn't make sense to have certain ones. But yeah, that's just a quick note. Um, but yeah, let's get started. I think we should start off with moving up at least the units that still would matter in this time. And I think we can easily agree, Red and I, that Diva and Admiral Aoi definitely still in their 10 slot, bottom of 10. Um, and definitely do not deserve a 9 slot at this era. Uh, mostly because to go through with it, if you haven't been in the know, Diva, what she does is she provides everyone 100% crit rate if you're in the front line, 100% crit damage, and also provides everyone with a party Diva buff. Diva buff, all it does is make it so then every unit will have lifesteal of 30%, and EX skills that do not have a strict EX count will have unlimited use during this time. Um, if you do still have uses, they will still consume uses. Just remember that. Um, and then outside of that, if you are in Diva mode, um, like anyone who is in Diva, by the way, this isn't just for if Ruka has Diva. Um, then they get +2 SP in the front line, right? Every turn. And she will, at LB3, lower her SP cost by 2, but for this list, we're not going to be incorporating that. But yeah, so main thing for her is she gives hit count buff, um, which this is JP, so it does say 50. It's actually, what was it before? 80? It's been so long now.
Yep, it
Is it
used to
80?
be 80%.
Yeah, it used to be 80. So it will increase your damage by 240% or a total of 340% just from hit count alone. And without Diva buff, she's only giving 5 hit counts um, and 12% potency. I think in EN it's
20%.
still 20? 20?
Yep,
20%? So it's
20.
100%. 100%. So doubles your damage. Um, Biggest thing here is this is your first new um, like turn-based hit count buff, which means that this skill will continue for 3 turns, 3 of your turns, by the way. So that means OD turns count and extra turns count. Um, you will get to be able to, let's say, if you have another different character that can use, let's say, a 4 SP skill and use that 3 times in a row, you can get 5 hit counts, for instance, from this buff, get 5 extra hits every single attack they do, as long as it's a skill and not an auto attack. Um, but yeah, that's why auto attacks were nerfed way back, because this they were implementing this. So yeah. Anyways, big deal. Hit count buff. She's the main one for Universal, the largest one you can get for quite some time. In fact, in JP, she's the only one that is large hit count Universal. But later on, JP, they have now recently released elemental hit count buffers, which are going to be much more prominent. But yeah, Luca still, as of now, is this still halfway? Yeah, this is. Still 10 out of 10. One of the best units in the game, especially on EN. If you want something we want to call basic human rights, she's it. There is very few who can replace her um, at this time. As for Aoi, Admiral Aoi, I know people are gonna be like, "Wow, you shill her a lot." Uh, that's because she was that prominently big, and in JP, she's still technically pretty big among players who are not high spenders or more on the casual side. So she is more of a casual side and low spender budget um, type of unit. Main thing about her are things that I should probably note. LB1 is the most important thing in her kit. Um, she provides every party member with -1 SP cost. This is a huge deal for multiple of reasons. One of them obviously is, oh look, one less SP cost for all your skills. But the number two reason is if you liked SP Orb, you'll like it even more now. It is not costing 1 SP, it costs 0. So for 0 SP, you gain 3. A big deal when it comes to trying to get your SP out as soon as possible. And if you pair her with Diva, Diva can SP turn 1, and I think by turn 3, or yeah, by turn 3, she can already Diva instead of turn 4. So, if I remember correctly. So that's a big deal.
Sounds
Just
right
like
to me.
pumping Diva out much earlier. Another thing is that you'll be like, wait, if Tama has to be doing all the buffs, or like, how am I going to do about like healing? Two things is Aoi obviously has her SS1. She can cover for well 2 attacks, um, which is really nice for defense. And if that wasn't enough, you can now use. It says 10 here, but it's actually 9 if you have LB1. Remember, she will revive DP and give you 100% OD. So you can kind of ignore breaks, and they don't matter because you're going to be popping this anyways. Um, Another factor is this passive. This passive is on and off something that you would like and something you don't like, depending on your budget. Oh, turn is it turn two at Diva? Okay, yeah, yeah. I forgot the math for it. I just remember it's a turn earlier, which is why it's a big deal. And you start having +2 SP in the front line like much earlier, which is a huge deal with the combo of the two. But yeah, this passive crit rate 100% for the whole party, in my opinion, is also a huge bonus for her, especially when paired with Ruka Diva. You may think, oh, but they both give crit rate. Why would this be synergetic? A large reason why is you'll notice that once you get starting to use Duka, um, the characters that weren't in the front when you did use her Diva buff will not really lifesteal much DP from an auto attack. And this passive by itself, because it increases your damage by 50% from from like natural um, crit damage bonus and lowers their border by 50 when you do hit them, you actually heal basically to full DP every time you auto attack, especially if you're LB1 across the board. You can really see this being like very helpful. And if you didn't have Admiral Aoi, the problem becomes that you didn't crit, so you only heal maybe like a fourth, if not like a tenth of your DP. That's how big the damage difference is, which is why this is very synergetic between the two. Um, Outside of that, the ally attack up, like this is really nice to have. It's not like required or anything. Um, and just remember that she does give a growth factor of skill up, right? So this does go up. 30% crit damage is whatever, but this attack up will be important with Diva, especially because Diva will not be like Yun and increase your attack. So this is a large factor on being synergistic in that aspect. Um, but yeah, that's why she is also at the top. Very good unit. Let me just fix this up a little bit. It looks a little ugly. top tier. Hello, Lecter. But yeah, let's I think we can still agree for debuffers being important that these three are your overriders and they're still really strong, but I think we should place um, certain new ones on the board before we kind of like dive deeper into these guys. But I think we can start here and we can probably just work down our buffer tree and then down our down the list from here. Red. What do you think?
Yep, we could
I think
start with
these two.
the overriders.
Yeah. Okay, we can start with the debuffers for overriders. So debuffers for overriders, we actually in the near future, we have I think we actually only have two, huh? We only have one, two. We only have two, right?
Yep, just those
Debuffers.
two.
Yeah.
One to
So we
fill
have
out
two
every
new
element.
debuffers, and they're actually both overriders. Funny enough. Um, well, I'm just gonna place them in weird places, so then it's just easier to access. We're going to have Misato 3, and we're gonna have Ichiko 3. Um, you'll kind of look at the two, and they're actually very interesting and very good. So let's start with Misato because she comes out first. She is your fire overrider, right? So as you can see, fire AoE overrider. She will provide you AoE defense down. She'll provide you an extra turn. Granted, you are in overdrive. That's what this says if you can't read it. Um, and if it's not overdrive, you just don't get the extra turn. Her common skill will give you fire defense down. This is also just AoE, so it's AoE numbers. If you want to get better numbers from her for defense down, there are different options. Like you can use your orb or you can use another ally. Outside of that, if you look at her, what's it called again? Her passives, overdrive. She actually has defense down bonus. So this is kind of due to the fact that yes, she is how do you put it? Doing AoE defense down, so it does make her defense down stronger, which is a big deal. Um, but there's also the factor that um, like she is now an SSR, and SSRs certain ones have more defensive down value, and for her she does because Ichiko exists. But that's a different thing we could talk about in the near future, since SSRs are not a thing for EN just yet.
Not yet.
The biggest thing about her that's not written in here. I mean, it's written here, but it's in Japanese. Oh, you guys can't even see my mouse. Can you? Oh, you
I
can't
can
see
see
it.
the mouse,
Okay.
yeah.
No, no,
Mouse
I'm
is
talking about
visible.
the stream, but they can.
Oh, thank you.
It's just lagging on my end, so I can't tell if they actually were. Um, but during overdrive, her common skill, though it says 12, actually cuts down in half. So it becomes costing 6. If you do have her LB3, it will cost 4 SP. So it is actually very cheap, very nice to have. And if you kind of spam this skill for additional turn and this skill for like, very low SP cost, you can build a lot of OD from her herself. That's probably why they left her hit counts very low, 3 hits and 3 hits. If you pair this up with Diva and you plus 5, you can actually get 8 hits for all of these hits. So she's really good and very synergistic with Diva, on top of being very strong and synergistic with OD in general. So this makes her extremely powerful. And you may think that she's very similar with Hisame, but Hisame doesn't have these defense down measures that Nikaido has. So Nikaido is slightly better than Hisame from my standpoint due to that factor. But yeah, she's just a very strong and solid unit. And out of the overriders, she is probably number 2 because number 1 is Ichiko, and we can go over that as well. So I think putting her here is fair. Yeah, I think right here is fair. What do you think? I think this is fair, right?
Yeah,
Right
she's
here.
definitely above them.
Yeah. Um, we're gonna have to raise one of them up and then move Tsukasa up, by the way, because I don't
Okay.
like how they're placed. If not, I have to make a new row. I might make a new row. Who knows? Next thing we'll talk about is Ichiko. So Ichiko, the newest one is Light. She's also SSR. We'll talk about that later. We don't have to talk about it now. But the biggest thing is that um, she will give light defense down. I mean, not light defense. Sorry, light resist down. So light over right. And gives AoE permanent defense down. So this one will be additive to regular defense down and will be permanently applied. The biggest deal about this skill is that it actually has single target potencies of 20 to 30% instead of the usual like 10 to 20%. So this is a big deal for this unit in particular. Um, but yeah, so her kit is based off of also being AoE, and as you can see, 6 hits and a massive 50% OD gauge up. So her thing is building OD straight from her rather than from her hit count, and rather her um, getting to OD to pop off, she herself will bring the OD herself. Um, and so regular skill, we have overdrive decrease as your payment. So it's cost 0 SP, but your payment is depletion of 50% OD. And if I'm not mistaken, Red, because I rarely use light on
Yep.
bosses that start you at lower than 50, I mean, lower than 0% OD. If you're under 0% OD, you actually cannot use this skill. Is that
Yep,
correct?
that's true. You can't
Yeah,
use it.
okay. Just making sure. I feel like I like never tried it, so because I don't use her. So if you're under 0% OD, which is a thing by the way, um, you cannot use this skill. But this skill is really powerful because it gives you 6 SP to the front line, including herself, right? Which is a big deal. Because this skill here, though it's nice and gives you 50% OD, it costs 18 SP to use. So just make sure you kind of keep that in mind as you um, go and think, oh, Ichiko's the best. As I do put her high tier, but we'll talk about that very soon. Another thing to note um, is that her LB0 passive is that if she is under 1 OD, um, then she will actually recover plus 1 SP additionally. Doesn't matter if she's in the front line or back line. Her LB3 passive, which actually matters, is that for one time she will increase the OD gauge if it's under 0 by 50%. So that kind of pays back for her common skill, which depletes your OD gauge by 50%. However, like in current JP, where you are forced to, is it current JP? Yes, current JP. That you're forced to start under 0 OD. I mean, under 0 OD. This is a slight issue because you can't make use of this very early on in the fight. But yeah, overall, she's an amazing unit. Just be wary of a couple of things. First of all, she will deplete the OD gauge as a cost for 6 SP, but you can regain it right back with 50% OD from her ult. And since her ult does 6 hits and AoE, even if it's single target, you basically lose nothing from hitting this skill into this skill right afterwards. The only thing you're going to be missing, I mean, only thing you'll be gaining is 6 SP to the side numbers. Oh, I need some tea. Give me a sec.
Right.
We just started. I'm talking too much. Yes, Ichiko's. This is the. I mean, this is not third anniversary. Okay, this is third year, but yeah. LB3 passive. Okay. Her LB3 passive. What about it coding? I explained it more. But I don't know what you're trying to ask. But yeah, overall, really solid unit. Um, However, at LB1, I can't really consider her vastly more superior to the rest of the overriders. Mostly because depleting your OD by 50% in the beginning is very harsh of a payment, and you don't really get. The only thing you're getting out of it is going to be that 6 SP, which does help you roll the ball with certain units, but at the same time, it's a hefty price to pay very early on in a fight. So, um, I kind of value her slightly above Nikaido and not greatly above her. I think it's a fair placement to put her um, at least at LB1, right? LB3, she is vastly more superior than the other overriders, but I think this is like a solid place to put her as these put together. Probably keep them. I think I'm gonna add 2 rows here. Yeah, because I don't like how Casa is down in tier 8. Personally, I don't think she deserves that. Left, right, right. Hello, Dawn. Let's do that. There we go. And let's clear all these because I don't want to deal with this in the coloring. There we go. Color reset. I think this is a fair assessment. Red, do you have anything to chime in? I feel like this is a very fair assessment of where uh, these overriders go. Or do you think I should dive a little bit deeper into um, the previous overriders that exist? These three.
The new additions are good. For past overriders, Hisame probably wins the most though, because she synergizes really well with Diva, who's going to be on most teams for forever,
I mean,
for a few months.
Sharo also uh, really does too. I feel like they're. I can't place an argument per se between like any of them filling this slot. I think it's fair to say they're roughly equal, but Casa is at the bottom of the three.
Yep,
So like I think this is fair. I think Shadow and Hisame you can kind of argue either or. They're about the same, but Kasa's slightly under, but she's not so under that she deserves to be on a lower tier. Is all I'm saying. I think this is like fair as assessment.
yep, for sure.
Okay, I think we're gonna go with. Give me a sec. I'm gonna do this real quick. Just run it down here, just so then it doesn't look ugly. And I think we're gonna go talk about the rest of debuffers. Let's start with general debuffers and then just go down the list for the rest of them. Because we're just gonna start debuffers, I think, for fun. Let's start with general. So did we get any new general debuffers? The answer is no, not a single one.
Yep.
No, not a single one. Okay, we're gonna work with this. So general debuffers. Let's see. These two on the bottom are non-factors to talk about. We'll just mostly talk about these 5 since they are factors in the game. Um, this is roughly where they stand in terms of like ranking how useful they feel between all of them. In terms of like Mia being the best, this has not changed, even to this era. However, I can see that depending on the situation, Fubuki can be more preferred than Mia, and Mia can be more preferred than Fubuki. I personally would put them probably instead of like being separate by 1 like this. I think we're gonna raise them up to here. I think that's fair, right? Just
Yep,
raise them
they
up.
both get a little bit something
Yeah,
extra, either
they
in
get
master skill or in a new common skill.
yeah. So I think we're gonna raise them up right here. I think this is fair, right? Right here. think this is it. There we go. So they should be in the same tier ish. At least like zero point 0.5 away. They're about the same. Um, you could argue one's better than the other for the team. Um, I'll make a quick note on why I'm placing these and then what actually kind of happened a little bit. And EN probably is going to get these things, but maybe a little later than expected. Hopefully not, because some of these things are really nice. And we'll find out. So, um, Mia, for the most part, we won't start here. We're gonna start over here because we can't even find it in there. Mia, for the most part, will have Evo that is going to be new. The Evo is going to be. They're actually changing. Fun fact: they're changing how the damage potency is. So damage used to be strength and dex, will now be purely intelligence. Does it matter? Not really, but it's a kind of cool change. Hit count doesn't change, SP cost doesn't change, and the light field doesn't change. However, you'll see two new factors that exist. One is going to be an attack down for one turn of 20 to 30%, and the other one's going to be a defense down that's permanent for 20 to 30%, and this can be stacked twice. Both are very good skills. I don't know how much Red has used her when this first came out, but this was a very big deal in JP since you can kind of time this to lower the attack of the enemy while also providing the support for the defense down. And if you have Diva, you can also give her a hit count buff and still pump out some OD while she's doing this. Did you have much use with her during that period or even now,
Not a
Red?
ton of use with her evolved skill, but having access to permanent defense down is just nice to have.
Yep. So it's nice to have. Now, I will note a caveat about Mia that people will have to realize, especially EN, who which a lot of them love Pierce Crit. Remember, Rice Field just came out. You now have a true field to use. Light Field will sadly get rid of it. So if you are using Mia 2 as your debuffer, do not be tricked and be like, oh, I should get the permanent defense down because, like I said before, your zone or your field will be gone, right? So just make sure you are very aware of that fact. Um, that's also why you'll see more prevalence, especially in JP, where they use Fubuki 1 plus 2 instead of Mia 2 plus 1 for a lot of Pierce crit teams. This is literally the main factor. The other thing Mia got that JP got that EN hopefully will get soon is her uh, master skill. Now this is one of the best master skills out there, in my opinion. It's one of the best. It's not the best. It's just one of the best. But after she uses any of her EX skill, she gives the party, including herself, plus 2 SP. So you can kind of say this skill costs 10 SP, but the initial cost is 12, right? Because at the end of using this, you'll be giving yourself 2, so you'll be at 2 before the start of the turn, rather than at 0. So that is a huge factor of why she was prominently used in JP, and a large factor of how strong she is, and something that like should be kept in the back of your head. Fubuki, that EN hopefully will get soon. Honestly, if they don't drop her soon, that's gonna be very sad. Is that they're going to um, give her a skill of Evo, and this skill Evo is very very good. It does two things. Uh, do you remember this, Red? this
Where they
this
changed the
problem?
order of the debuff application,
Exactly. They
so
they
it actually
changed
works well.
so not only did they lower her SP cost from 13 to 12, which was like really good. They changed this. So Misfortune or what's it in EN? Um
Enfeeble.
Enfeeble. So Enfeeble actually used to be and still is in EN, I think. Applied last, right? You may see the debuff on the bar after you use the skill, but it is actually applied last, which means that the debuffs that applied first before it will never get the benefit of this minus 20 stats. Um, Kind of feels bad and kind of sucks. And that's why she wasn't really rated that well until this Evo, because Evo is very important to her. Um, Evo not only brings this misfortune to the top, but also this skill now has a fragile of 2 turns rather than one, and grants defense down. So she is your general debuffer because she gives you fragile and defense down, and she has a stronger time doing it because she has misfortune, which is 20 stats. Now, don't get me wrong. Um, this 20 stats is very important for especially her and her kit. This is very prevalent due to the fact that if you actually look at her growth, she doesn't really skew in any direction for intelligence or luck, and so this definitely helps her reach those things that she needs, right? Um, just a quick note of like how important the Evo is in turn order. I mean not turn order, but the debuff order. So yeah, just note that SS2. If you were not aware of why she is looked at so highly, makes it so she actually has a 2 use skill that will increase OD. The first one is going to be 75% OD and will deplete. It says consumes 100%. It's actually 99.9%, whatever. It depletes your DP to 1. So you won't break. Okay. Um, and the second time you use it, it'll only give you 25%. So you get very fast OD as long as she's not getting hit. It's okay. Right? Is Fubuki 2 out on EN yet? No, I don't think so. Um, I don't
No,
follow
not
EN
yet.
too much.
Maybe
Um,
on Christmas. Who knows?
Maybe on Christmas. Yeah, probably on Christmas. Fubuki 2 probably coming on Christmas. I mean, she has a Christmas style. Look at the Santa hat, right? Look at the cute Santa hat. So, um, yeah, that's just kind of like where she's at, and very strong unit to say the least. I think Aina might we might lower Aina a little bit. I think she's not as strong. And I think with Isuzu having 3 now, I think Isuzu we can put up here on top of strong. And then I think we lower Aina down to uh, here. I think this is fair. What
Makes
do you think?
sense. We have better ways of generating
Yeah.
overdrive now.
So we now have better ways of generating overdrive now. Um, and so Aina is not as prevalent. She only gives standard defense down. Um, and sure, she if you have SS3, you can make her defense down stronger, but it is AoE defense down. And it's not like you need AoE all the time. And if you do have AoE defense down and you do need like all that stuff, Isuzu 2 plus 3 can do the job as well. If not better. Because she's just more potent. The main thing that Aina will have above her is building OD, but you also have, like I said before, multiple ways of building that up. And then Maki, I think, in my opinion, is the worst out of them, just because of SP cost. Literally, just SP cost is her problem.
Yep,
Sure, she's not a debuffer, which makes your debuffing less potent, um, which is true. But 14 SP is huge when you have to use it twice. The other units using their skill twice is either is always lower than 25 SP, which means that at OD1 you can pull off their combo. You need OD2 to pull off Maki. Like hands down, you need OD2. So because of that alone, she's kind of seen as the worst one, but she is still very good because she can also build DR. But like I said, that's there's other ways to do that. So yeah, worst one out of them, but honestly, all the general debuffers are very strong. Sure, these two are not on the strong line; they're a little bit lower, but that's just something to like think about and to know. Yeah, so I think we're basically done with general debuffers. Megu and Miko are still at the bottom. There's still nothing great about them. I think at this point, Miko gets her Evo, right? Yeah, Miko gets her
yeah.
Evo. This is a big deal of an Evo, but it doesn't really give her higher rank because it's not that important. Um, on her SS1. This is very important on her other SSs. So she can now give a defense down of 40 to 55%. This is pretty close, if not the same, to Isuzu's numbers before you level it up, which is why it's a big deal. Um, and the other big deal is it costs 7 SP at first cast,
Yep,
and
first
14
cast.
SP for the rest of the cast. So, yeah, it's just a lot easier to get your casts out, and you don't need as much SP. And this combos really well with her SS3. So, as an SS1, kind of kind of who cares? But on her SS3 or on her SS2 or whatever, like actually very solid defense down, very solid unit. This number being higher than usual allows you to actually not worry about how much um, LBs you have on her or stats because, well, obviously she doesn't really run too much by stats. So, yeah, it's very nice to have. I don't know how much Red has used Miko these days, but
I use her quite a bit still.
yeah, after this Evo, honestly, she's so nice to use.
Yeah.
um,
Her SS1 ult goes from a skill that you would never even slot onto her into like one of her better skills that you use a surprisingly high amount.
whenever I use Miko, this skill is always on. It's so good. It hits 6 times
Yeah,
and
6 hits is pretty
6 hits
important.
of AOE and 7 SP. It's pretty good for building these. How many Evos away she is? I don't know how far En is. Is En? How far is En? Did En even get these two? I know the at
I
least
think
Shiki.
so.
Did he even get these two? Wait, did he even get Shiki? I
He
know they
must
got.
have got
I know they at least
cheeky.
have Maki. I actually don't know how far En is. Oh, you only got to Maki. Okay, that's far. One, two, three, four, five, six,
It
seven.
might take a while.
It might take a while, but these like come out so fast. I don't know. They're taking their time. I don't think Miko is event related, is she? She's on the tower, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So it
She was one of
might
the
take
like
a little
last
bit
tower ones
longer.
for a while.
Cause yeah, it's yeah, you won't even know for En. It's a interesting time. um yeah, Miko, one of the better units out there for stuff. Um as for the other debuffers, right? The Megus are still very strong. However, just note in JP, they do end up falling off. I'm just going to show it the JP list, just so people are aware, right? If you are not used to like seeing all this, the Megus fall off. A lot of it comes down with field. Their biggest um, deal is that they bring field. And field is a huge damage boost, but in JP they have moved field from an independent multiplier into an additive multiplier with enhance, which made them a lot weaker. So the current Megus in JP are not as strong, but in En they're still holding strong. They're still very good and top of the brass. As you can see, Miko here is very high up. In fact, I would probably slot her right next to the Megus. Now that her SS1 Evo supposedly should be there by the time that we update this again. Hopefully.
With any
But
luck, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's under the establishment that her Evo is there. Um, maybe I should add in with Evo. With Evo, just in case. Hopefully it's understandable. But yeah, with Evo, very powerful, very much high up there. Um, maybe Megus go up one actually. Yeah, Megus go up one. Miko right behind, trailing right behind. But they're pretty much uh on dot and very good, very high up there. Isuzu is also up there with Miko, but I don't think she is as prevalent because Miko actually takes care of AoE um, light down very easily because she now actually has a very strong um, defense down that Suzu wouldn't have had previously. Mia and Aina, do they deserve the push down, or should they go up? Uh, at this timing, I think they probably still deserve the push up. I think
Yeah,
everyone, I think everyone in here deserves a push up. Um, I don't know if I really need to say why, but yeah, they deserve push up. Uh, about half a step. I don't think a full step. Half a step up. I don't think I need to dive deep into them, but maybe I'll make another video or something later on, since if I ramble for every single unit, this list, oh yeah, this list making can last hours. So we'll leave that for another ramble, and we'll deal with that later as a thing to worry about. But just know that like they're not that much worse. Whatever, they're still really strong. These two. In JP, you basically never see these two ever again. Mostly because there are better options, or whatever they were good at was technically quote unquote nerfed. Aina being the huge thing where they did buff OD, but was also a nerf to Aina because Aina was part of the um, OD loop squad where you can actually just loop infinite OD. Now you can't do that. So that is something to worry about. Yes, we should. That is why she's not as good in JP, but like she is still very good. Um, yeah. I think I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, and then we'll just go straight to buffers, general and elemental, and we'll pick up the ones who are new as well during that time. So give me a sec. I use restroom and get some more tea, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Oh, by the way, Red, if you ever want to interject, you can just say so.
all right.
You're
It's
free
been
to
pretty
like tell me
straightforward
to.
so far.
Yeah, you can tell me if I missed something or if you want to note something very important. You are free to do so. That's why you are a guest here. You are allowed to cut me off. Let's put this one as. I'll just do this, just because some people really need that. Okay, so we're getting back to it. General supports. Let's see if we have any new ones. We at least have one, so that I know of. Or no, like they're not general supports. Uh, no, we don't. We have no new general supports. Okay, I guess not. Okay, so we're
Irene
gonna
might
start with
maybe count.
what?
Irene might maybe count. I feel like she's used more for SP than healing.
Yeah, but she is a healer, so she should be in
Yeah.
healer role, right? Like, I don't know. She is. kind of utility, to be fair. She's more utility, to be fair, right? Maybe we could put her there.
Hey, if attackers and debuffers can be in utility, why can't healers?
Yeah, why not? Anyways, Tama. Okay. Um, Suit Tama, everyone's favorite buffer, outside of Union in EN right now, until Diva comes out. Um, Still very very strong, still very good. Um, if you actually loop back to 1 year back in time when Red and I started making these tier lists and stuff, and we did talk about this, Tama has a lot of problems pairing up with Diva. However, she also has one giant bonus, which is she is basically the only one that can provide the other buffs that Diva can't. Do you remember this discussion, Red?
Yep. Uh, the overlap is
So
a little bit annoying between her and Diva, but she manages to carve out a niche for herself still.
yeah, so during Diva's reign, including up until um, the Wakki minions, right? She is one of the better, not technically not the best due to some things you'll see in later, but not the only option. But she is one of the best options still, as your mind eye provider and your enhancer, and that's mostly because pretty much no one does that. So there isn't a single unit for a long time, not a long time, but for a while, should I say, that
Yeah.
can bring both buffs if your damage dealer needs both. And that's where Tama comes in. Why she actually pairs decently with Diva is due to the fact of two factors, right? Number one is, since Diva provides life steal, you don't have to heal as much on Tama. It doesn't feel like, oh, like all my heals are gonna be on. No, no, no. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just auto attack, and it's fine. Um, However, that means that those units that are auto attacking cannot use their skills that like are buffing. So that is another caveat. Now, Tama can also provide your what's it called again, your damage dealer with large crit rate. I mean, a crit damage and crit rate, which is a huge deal, right? Um, Without Diva having to provide the buff. Now you'll be like, oh wait, but like, if Diva can do it, why don't we let Diva Duka do it? Well, the real reason behind that is because there'll be times where you don't actually have the turns to have both the damage dealer be in the front and Duka Diva be in the front at the same time for Diva to pop her ult, so they can get the buff for large crit damage and crit rate. And Tama will guarantee to provide a mind eye. So that's kind of why she still was like semi weirdly synergistic, but at the same time you need a lot of SP from her. And at this point, when this was a thing in JP, if you didn't have LB3 suit Tama, it didn't feel so good because you really wanted that SP, but it also wasn't required to do it. It just felt not as good. In this case, I still think that she should still grant herself bottom of 9. I think she still deserves that number. Um, Mostly due to the fact that she is like one of the few ones that can fill that niche, but at the same time she is still very strong. I can't deny her strength, and I don't know what LB Red had her at, but like I had her LB3 pretty early, so, and I felt like, wow, I really need SP on her. So um, yeah.
Yeah, I had her LB3 for pretty much the entire time I had her.
How about EN? Do you have her LB3 now? Still?
Immediately LB3, yep.
Okay. Fair.
I like the
Um,
fast SP, what can I say?
I don't even have that. Cause remember my account is like all LB1s or whatever. I messed up. I accidentally LV2'd Megu, and I still haven't used her, but like, I feels bad, bro. Okay, Unions. So Unions, if you are a EN player, you definitely know she is the hit count buffer that like everyone loves. Um, and Diva kind of like trips her up a little bit. I don't value her to be so still like considerably weak even after right after Diva comes out. However, you'll basically not see her be used if Diva's out. Thus, I'm kind of wanting to put her here where it's like she's good, but like you like Diva is 2 tiers above. I think that's a very fair place to put her at and a fair assessment of where she's at. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I want to put her. I don't really want to talk about kits that like people should already know. But yeah, that's where I would like to put her. Unless uh, unless you have something to say about this, Red. I think she should still not be in 7. I think she still deserves an 8.
Yeah,
In terms
strictly
of
speaking, there's nothing wrong with her,
yeah,
aside from being outclassed by Diva, but she's also one of those characters you just stop seeing on team comps as soon as Diva comes out,
yeah,
pretty much eternally at this
yeah.
rate,
So like we said,
until
if you
she
are a
gets
new
skill evolution at
yeah,
least.
if you're already a new player watching the VOD for this, because most likely a new player is not watching the stream for it. um, it is highly important to note that if you do not have Diva, you will really want Union. Okay. So she is still. That's how strong she is. So she is still strong. That is also why I put into Koju Radio that she is like one of the first pickups you should want to do with your tickets if you do not already have her, and if you did not pull Diva. Now, if you're a new player right now, and you um, are currently playing right now before Diva's out, um, then save for Diva. If you don't get Diva, then you should pick Union from your suppression tickets, your Rainbow SS selector. Pick her. You will not be disappointed. It's very important. Bento, let's see. Tama 5 SP going to be demonic issue on Diva teams until you get Aoi 4. Yeah, pretty much. Aoi 4 can let you allow you to remove Tama, but that's besides the point. As for these girls, I did push them down like a whole tier. I think this is fair. I think the rest of them are
Yeah,
fair to be pushed down to these tiers. Personally, I think I'm okay with that. You okay with that? If I leave them here
yeah,
instead of
yeah.
pushing them up at all, I think this is fair. I don't.
They just stop showing up.
Yeah. Um. And yeah, we'll just leave them there. And then Minori, we'll put you up because you can't be 0, right? So um, well, at least give you
Yeah,
that.
she'll get a skill evolution probably.
Yeah.
Nobody will
I
use
mean,
it,
even the skill
but
evo,
it's
people don't
there.
use it. Okay, elemental buffers. So any new elemental buffers? Oh yeah, our
A
favorite,
big one,
our
yeah.
favorite.
A
Hell
couple
yeah,
big ones.
we have one.
There's a lot of healers on that list, isn't there? Just
Yeah, yeah,
names.
they gave a lot of healers. Um, I think that's it
Yeah.
for elemental buffer. That's it, right? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Bungo isn't an element, so we can't put Seira on there.
True, true, true.
Sometimes it feels like Bungo is an element, though.
Bungo. I mean, did you not see this?
Yeah, there it is. Exactly.
There's Pure Script and there's Wakki minions, and then there's Oshima family, and then there's the path I'm planning on pulling for. These are the units I'm planning on pulling for. Oh, Muddy's not on there. Oops. I need to put Muddy on there. Do I even have? Oh, I do have a photo Muddy. Okay, we're putting on her. We're putting her on here. There we go. She's on there now. Okay. No, no, not stop getting sidetracked. Okay.
Okay.
um. So, um, newest buffer that's gonna come out is Casa 5. Probably hands down the best buffer in the game for elements. If
Oh yeah,
you are
no question.
unaware of what she does, she is a fielder that provides crit rate and crit damage for her element of ice, and she'll provide large ice attack that is turn based. It's only 3 turns, but only to the front line. Um, and the rest of her skills are like uh, the main thing you need to know about her is if she does get SP from an ally, she will provide more SP to the rest of the team. And so if you run something like Megu, uh, very good synergy with her master skill, or anyone who can provide SP. Very good synergy. LB3 is similar, just gives more SP. Besides the point, um, main main problem with Casa is that she does not provide large enhance. So if you really needed large enhance, you need to get it from a different source. Her SP costs are also slightly high, but that's because they provide turn based. So very strong. Also, her ult animation is really good. I'm definitely not glazing her up, and definitely not biased, but Red's like, nah, this guy's biased as
Just gotta
hell.
check your profile picture quickly. Yeah, 1 second.
Whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa.
no bias whatsoever.
Anyways, Casa 5, definitely not in the leagues of 10 out of 10, especially for buffers. Um, Mostly if she had ability of giving large enhance and other things like that, probably even better. She does not have that. I do rate her kind of in 9. I'd say like top of 9. Probably one of the best buffers in the game,
Yeah, I
hands
think
out.
that's a great place to put her.
Right?
Really paves the
Everyone
path for buffers going forward.
everyone down here, who I pushed down 1. Honestly, I'm just gonna push them straight back up 1. Because I feel there's not really much of a change, and they're all really good. So, um, I think that's like the most fair assessment I can give. I'm just gonna move them up like that. There you go. Um, I don't think you can hate me for this, right? Just that's
Nope.
just fair, right? If you want to know why they're placed there, I am gonna go over like at least the important ones, and then I'm just gonna breeze past, and I'm gonna just check if there's anything else I want to change. Number one, Yotsuha, probably one of the best buffers in the game. In JP, she will provide also the highest buffs if at LB3 that a fire buffer can provide. However, it just costs a lot to do it and a lot of turns. So that's why people don't release her in JP anymore. But before Cotton was coming out, Cotton 6 came out, she was used more often than someone like Higu, which is new. Um, Adele is kind of a side grade to her. They have similar buffs. The main difference is Adele's more of a blaster and provides a lot less numbers. So if you're going for speed, Adele is way better. And for if you need a blaster, Adele is way better. However, if you just want max damage and you want to look cool, Yotsuha is the better choice between the two. Union slightly is better than her counterparts. I'm still gonna lower her a little bit, but she provides thunder crit damage. Main difference between her and Casa is Casa's faster, provides field, and a enhance for her element, and Union does not. Um, but yeah, uh, no, actually, I'll keep Union here. Union's fine here. I'm like rethinking. I think Iroha we want to push up. Yeah, I think you would agree with that.
Yeah,
I think as
she
time
proves
goes,
surprisingly
Iroha
resilient.
always. Yeah, yeah. I'm the more I've played with her and the more JP goes on, the more resilient Iroha is. She's like the only fielder that you still like feel happy fielding right now. Um, oops, not this one. But yeah, Iroha 2, just like this. That's how strong fire is, I guess. um, very potent. I'll talk about her since I did move her a little bit, and why she is so prevalent. and why even in JP she's even more prevalent, right? Number one factor is why she is not seen as much early on as Megu at like this phase in JP. If you've seen them being used, is less people had Iroha than people had Megu. More people had Megu because Megu was like a year and a half old. Um, the other thing is that back then, you really needed someone to break the boss, and Megu can do that, and Iroha can't. That's kind of her thing. But at this phase, once we get to where Bungo minions are, um, if you, I mean, not Bungo, Wakki minions. Oh my god, dude, help!
It feels like it, doesn't it?
I know. When Wakki minions come out, you do have more options for breaks. In fact, you can actually put Bungo in for breaks. Um, into like certain squads. So Megu being able to break wasn't as big of a deal. In fact, you can have Misato break. There's so many more options in Fire, and there's so much more overlap, mostly due to the introduction of Nikaido here. That Megu kinda gets phased out as Iroha kinda takes over for Fire Field, and you now have like more options for things. Um, the biggest factor of Iroha is that she provides 5 SP to the party while overriding the field. And not that you can read this, but it says that if you're rewriting to a fire field with this skill, right, it costs 0 SP. So different field, rewrite, 0 SP. Very good skills. Um, Down here we have yeah, everyone else is pretty much where they should be. I don't really want to go over them, but we can go like if you want to go over them. I think they're in a previous video somewhere. Um, Shiki is strong. Don't let the memes like tell you otherwise. Just know that she's just over. She's just underneath Diva, which is why she's not using light. But she is actually a strong unit. Just that's they're just better options, which becomes her main issue. And then we have the saddest bucket that I wanted to point out, just because I'm still kind of not happy why Yotsuha 2 is still not out in EN. She's so late, and now she's so worthless because Diva's coming out before her. Can you
And
believe
Shiki might
that?
also come out before her.
You're right. Shiki is coming out before. Can Dude, a year ago if you told me that, I'd be so sad.
I feel like they might just like give it to us in our mailbox at some point. Oh, by the way,
I
here's two
know.
new styles. Enjoy, and then nobody will ever use them.
It is like here's two new styles. Enjoy. You have
Yeah,
Yotsuha
just don't
two
even have a
and Mua
banner.
two. Yeah, don't
Just
even
give
have a
them away.
banner. Just give away Yotsuha two Mua two for free. Like
These are
not
like
even
better
like a
than
ticket where
some
you could
year
choose.
one styles.
No, wait, don't wait. No joke. Don't even give like don't no banner. Don't even give like a ticket where you can choose which one. Just give both for free. They're like
Yeah,
no one needs them. Pretty much. Except for maybe he's called a Oshima fan. No one needs them. They'll lose like nearly $0 doing that. Dude, Otaku, no, they're not even gonna give you guys a selection ticket. They're just gonna give both for free, dude. No joke, man. Come on, this is crazy.
it would be pretty funny if they just gave two selection tickets and those are the only options.
No, dude, they gave 2 selection tickets, and one of them only selects Yotsuha, and one of them only selects Mua. Crazy. But yeah, Chie, should Chie be moved? Probably not. I think she's
Um,
fine here.
she has a cheap AoE ultimate that technically synergizes with Diva because she can use multi-hit with cheaper
I
skill costs, but that's about it. That's all I
But like
can
you have
think
to
of.
go to extra turn, and to go
Yeah,
to extra turn, you
and
do have to
you're
waste a
wasting
hit count.
turns.
So that doesn't sound like a good thing. I don't know, man. That sounds
Yeah,
eh.
I don't think
I'm
she's
not.
moving.
Yeah, I don't think she's
I'm not
moving.
seeing
I
it.
think we're sticking. Yeah, yeah. We're definitely going to uh raise up Aoi um by actually yeah by but to 8. In fact, I might change this a little bit um since this is an actual factor. Actually, I'm gonna expand this to the right. There we go. Um, and copy and paste. There we go. Um, the real factor here is Aoi still very powerful. I did rate her 8 before and stuff. These two should be in the same tier to be completely fair. Um, and now we're going to defenders. Let's at least bring in the one new defender I at least remember, Seda. I don't think there's another defender. That's it, right? Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yep,
Um,
mostly just healers.
Seda. Okay. I will note to bring up. Let's go over Seda first, and then let's go to the other ones, right? Um, Carol 2 worthless too. I mean, yes, that's true. If anyone is gonna end up using Admiral Aoi, how do her other styles stay strong? You'll
They get a new
see.
common skill.
Yeah, just common
It's
skill.
not a bad
This
skill at all.
you'll get it. So what was I going over? Seda. Right? Seda, the newest one. Um, that was important, guys. Um, Bungo Minion Seda. She's a defender, which is a defender and technically a buffer at the same time. Quick notes before we go over her kit, though she does do buffs. Her growth is not for buffs; it's for damage reduction, making her extremely tanky. Um, and that's pretty much a big deal to just point out. Her ult is an 8 SP costing ult that has infinite use. There is no use limit, and as you use it more, it becomes stronger, right? So at first cast, you only get a defense buff for the front line, and at max, which is the fourth time, you will remove buffs, I mean debuffs, right? You will give and provide attack um, large attack buff, and this is turn based, so it is doubled, right? And Mind Eye. Uh, very, very good unit. Extremely powerful unit. It is sad to see that, like, yes, it's not her contender, should I say, is not going to be on the tier list, which is Yanagi. Um, for at least spenders, she's never seen. Um, but if you do look at like Soul Racker, or if you look at like just weaker teams in general, she is definitely the go-to like uh, defender, buffer, whatever you want to call her, because she just does everything you need. But she does sit in the front line a lot, and you're like, wait, but how do I build OD while spamming this skill? The answer is her passive, right? Provides 10% OD gauge, which is higher than auto attacking, by the way. Auto attacking is 7.5%, which is a huge deal because that means even if you're spamming this, you're still getting OD, right? It's just very comfy play. You are reducing how much damage that your team takes by 53%, and you just provide OD. Very powerful unit. Um, like you'll see why like I telling you like she is really really busted, really strong, but there is a unit that basically does what she does, but to a whale for a whale team, whale degree. You'll understand what I mean. But anyways, her passives that are like very straightforward, very nice to know is at battle start, if she starts in the front line, she gets plus 2 SP. If you have Inori 2, this is the same thing. Why is this skill important? That's because at turn 1, you'll have, if you start in the front line, you'll have 9 SP, which means you can fire this right off the gate, and you can start off the battle with your front line having 45% damage reduction from the very beginning of the fight. If you are low LB and you are getting very hurt very early on before your healers are ready, yeah, she's the go-to. Like she is just very very powerful on keeping your team alive. If you're doing Soul Racker, even in JP, if you could try to go with the higher ones, um, and those bosses are starting to hurt, she is literally your go-to. If you go to a lot of like even whales and leviathans, they use her for those high levels because it's that important. The damage reduction she gets from her tears, very important too, because she needs to sit in the front line and she can't really heal herself without wasting SP, and so you need her to stay there as much as possible. I think it like, gives her like what, I forgot how much tears give. I think it's like 30% or something. Um, Damage reduction. Anyway, it's a lot. So she doesn't take any damage. I had her at LB0 and she was tanking hits that like even my tankiest units can't even survive. And that are max LB, by the way. And like purely built as like for stats for tank, she is tankier than them. She's that crazy. So crazy stuff. Number two thing is don't worry about this. We can talk about this later, right? Um, do you need any other Seda styles to be effective? Good question. You technically need her SS1, and that's it. Technically, the rest of them you don't really need. One of them is very helpful, but you don't need it. I've never used it. I think it's a useful tool to have, but I've never used it. Um, Her LB3, which is nice, is if you give her SP with an active skill, she gives everyone SP. So it's like pretend you put her into a fire team and pretend you use Iroha's plus 5 SP to the whole team. Effectively, you actually give plus 7 SP to your whole entire team. Insane unit. This is why like I wish I had her LB 3, but I don't. Not in JP. It's just not worth it for me. But like I wish I did because it'd be fun and cool to like experiment with things. Um, this is the only other skill that is somewhat like useful tool that I can see that like I've never had to use it, like ever had to use it, but I can see it being good. It gives you like break guard, which is essentially saying that if she is above 50% DP, it'll prevent a break. Like she will not break. Um, and this thing kind of like lingers like forever until it actually occurs. So if during the 3 turns of AoE cover you didn't ever get close to breaking, you can actually stack this, which is really funny, by the way. Um, but that's besides the point. SS1 is important for her because she gives crit rate and crit damage. Granted, please look, 60% crit damage, not 100%. So just note that that is a thing and make sure you remember that. But she can technically buff every single buff you need: crit rate, crit damage, large enhance, mind die. Granted, we're not talking about elemental, right? So non-elemental buffs, she has everything you need. You don't need anything else. Um, we're not also talking about morale or the new ones. I'm talking about like the more like standard important ones. So because of that, she actually has everything you need as a defender. She's a very offensive defender. Um, I kind of value her very highly. If you haven't seen the JP list yet, um, you'll see here. I put her at the very top. I still stand by that. By the way, she is still like one of the best, if not like the best defender, in my opinion. And she kind of stays at tier 8, top of tier 8. Just like I put her in JP. I mean JP is bottom of 8, but like I think she's top of 8 in during this period. I don't know how Red feels about her, but this is like how I feel about her. I think she's just goaded. Granted, there are other options, but she's just goaded if you can't survive.
Yeah, as a defender, that seems fair. She almost seems like she should be placed higher just as a buffer in that regard compared to who else is up there.
Oh, like Tama, that's true.
Like Kagitama, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We could put her up one. No, no, no. That's fair. That's fair. I do agree with that. That's a comment I do agree
Um,
with. She is that
Tama
powerful.
side
So
grade.
she is a
We'll see
Tama
a
side
few of
grade.
those,
She's like
I'm
Tama
guessing.
without heals, dude. She's Tama without heals. I think the biggest thing about her that makes her absolutely goaded is this right here. It's literally just right there. It's the fact that she has debuff removal and she has defense up. I think that's crazy. I I think at max it's three debuffs. You don't even need three debuff removal. That's crazy. Have you ever thought about that? Three debuff removal? You don't even need that, dude.
Well, maybe your Aoi used her Angel Wings and took 3 debuffs from the 3 frontline units, and you
Yeah.
have to cleanse all of those, so she
I don't
doesn't
know.
take like lethal poison damage in one turn. Who knows?
Anyways, another big deal about why Seda is rated so highly is defense buffs. They're really insane in this game for survival. And even though Aoi exists to literally prevent damage, defense up will be able to last if the enemy does multiple attacks. Well, Aoi will suffer against that. So, from my take, Aoi should exist, but like right under Seda, in terms of being a defender. I think there's just way more utility and way more survivability incorporated in Seda than I see in Aoi, um, in my personal opinion, at least. Excuse me. And I think everyone else can kind of stay where they are. I think Ichiko deserves to be a little less than strong. She's still really good, but and these two should stay. And should they even be viable? I don't even think they're viable anymore. I think they're like lower
No.
than viable.
If you want defense up, you can just use the safeguard orb, let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fix this up real quick and then I'll move them to a lower tier. And I actually added this for memes, but it's so true. uh, don't you agree? It's like without Aoi one, she's just really bad. Let's move these two down. I think it's fair to say that they're like this. Yeah, that's fair. They're
Yeah, I
like
think
slightly
so.
less than. Yeah. Uh, there we go. Oh, where's that? Okay. But yeah. Honestly, solid unit. I think I have her on my list of what I'm planning on pulling. Yeah, she's a high prio. She's so
Yeah, I'm
good,
probably
dude.
pulling her too.
I'm going Bungo minion, so most likely I'm pulling her. She's so good.
Hey, same. What a coincidence. It's almost like
Wow.
it's a really good team comp that's easy to
Well,
use.
I wonder in JP my Bungo is LV1 by the way. I never use her. I don't use her at all in JP. On Ian I'm like, dude, I want to use her. I would go all the way in her because she's so good. In JP I'm like, dude, she's so boring. I don't want to use her. It's crazy. Anyways, healers. We have a bunch of new healers, guys. I can't believe it.
There's at least 3? Is there 4?
So we
I think
have
it's just
Lisa.
3.
So Lisa's new. Lisa's new. Who else do we have? Um,
Oh, you've got
she is a
Chie.
healer. Yeah, she is a healer. Um,
She even feels like a healer compared to the others who don't.
uh, Miko's a healer. Yeah, Miko's such a interesting one actually. I still don't know if I like in her JP place when I placed her. It's a good place. I actually have no idea if it is.
She's a weird
Irene
style.
is a
Irene's a
healer,
healer, yep.
but we're going to place her in utility. I think she's more utility than healer. I think we just discussed it earlier in the stream. I'm gonna put her utility. Her heals are kind of weak. I'll go over her real quick. I'm not gonna rate her, just so people understand why I didn't put Irene into the healer list. Um, if you check here, her heals, yes, they go up, but this is very small. Um, it is kind of like I think Mua heals for about the same, if not mistaken. But like Mua gets like heal growth, and she gets skill up growth. So yeah, I don't think like Mua at least. I think Mua heals. Yeah, Mua heals for the same amount. Technically now more because she has an Evo. Um, but she also has heal growth, so you can kind of feel her heal. You really cannot feel Irene's heal. So I'm gonna put her into utility. If people wonder why she's on healer, um, that's why I think I put her on healer for the JP list. But I'm probably, ooh, did I? Yeah, I did. I'm probably gonna move her to utility because I just don't feel her to be healer as much anymore. Not that I use her very often, but I don't feel like there's a need. Mua, Mua, Mua. Okay. Let's move Mua first. Just because Mua's an interesting one. During this era, Mua gets to see a rise in popularity for a little bit. Um, I don't deem her to be tier 9 or tier 10. I think she solidly deserves to be bottom of tier 8. Um, a large reason why her resurface happens is mostly due to the fact that Tama is not as prevalent during Diva. So Diva provides crit rate, crit damage. If you have Admiral Aoi, she'll bring Enhance. And if you have those two together, your perfect one to set the match is Mua. So now you can make sure that there are heals. You can make sure that Mind Eye exists in your team. And so she's just a very solid unit overall to have. In EN, when Admiral Aoi does come back, there's a high chance that I personally am going to use Mua over Tama. Just just saying. Is she that much stronger? Is she great? No. It's not like she improves really. It's just that she um fits the role that's
In higher
required.
demand.
Yeah. Which is why she's getting a rate up. It's not because she's actually that much stronger. It's not because she's OP. She's just more like what she provides is more in demand because of what the meta shift was. That's why I'm moving them up a little bit. This is including yes, this is including with her master skill. Um, I don't remember when she got it. Oh, she got it first. Oh, yeah, yeah. This is with her SP recovery master skill. Even with that, which by the way, I don't even have in JP. I never felt the need to have it. I've used her a couple times. I was like, I never went like, oh man, I wish I had it. Um, if by the way, you will want it when you do Mua SS3. I have tried using Mua SS3 without it. You will want her master skill. SS1, not so much. Just a note. But yeah, so that's kind of where she's sitting at. She's not that much better. She's not like super amazing, but she does provide what you need. So I think that's like the biggest thing to think about. Yes, so I think she is way more than strong, but she is not needed to be anywhere near 9 or 10 per se. Lisa, well, no, because she's also one of the higher tier ones. I believe if there's a debuff involved, she's the top of 8. I don't think she's strong enough to be the bottom of 9 per se. After using her for so long, I think in the JP tier list during this time, I did put her like tier 9 or something. But
Yeah.
after using her for so long, I finally have her LB3 by the way for no reason. I haven't used her since then. But my main note is if there is a debuff involved, Lisa SS3 definitely sits at top of 8. If there is no debuff involved, she basically sits at the bottom. So yeah, we'll just note that too because we want to make sure everything is noted properly. And yeah, she's like right here and say no debuff, right? So you have no debuff. Let's make a no. There you go. Hopefully people can read that. Um, then she's absolute garbage. Let's go over a kit just because she is new, right? Have you ever used this one? Do you even have this one?
I do have her, and I have used her scarcely. But
Yeah,
yes.
she is good when the niche is actually there, but like
Yeah, she's a hard unit to
it's
rank.
yeah, she's a hard unit to rate. The only
Because you either
thing,
don't bring her to the battle because there's no debuffs, or you bring her and she
yeah,
feels like a cheat code.
yeah. So the main thing I want to know is the better, technically, in my opinion, the better version of her is just Seda. Okay, Just putting it out there. Um, biggest thing, right? Every time she uses her EX, any EX, including her EX1, by the way, provides 10% OD gauge, right? Um, LB3 is whenever she uses EX, any EX, by the way, provides plus 2 SP to the whole party. Really good, by the way. Um, Especially because her EX only costs 9. It's a very cheap costing EX. The problem is you have to hit the marker. Right here, the marker, as you can see here, is debuff removal for the party. It's difficult to understand just by looking at this if you can't read Japanese, which is here. But what it is that if any of your teammates have a single debuff, doesn't matter what kind of debuff it is, if it can be removed, it will remove said debuff and then provide Mind Eye and Party Attack up one time to the whole party. This is not turn count. This is just one stack, whole party. Just remember, she provides as a growth healing, so not skill up. So this is, this does not scale per level, so it's actually much lower value in terms of um, buffing than Tama, for instance. Okay, she is one of the few side grades to Tama. However, she is conditional that you need to have some kind of debuff on your party. So if there is a boss that spams debuff after debuff after debuff, like every 2 turns, this is actually really good. But unless you have something like that going on, or if you have a teammate that can debuff themselves, she's not that great. She's a pass. Um, but yeah, this one here is just removing one debuff and then gives regen. It depends. RNG if you get how many turns it does it. Um, Kind of worthless skill to be honest. You want to be spamming her EX the whole time. So if there's a debuff involved, removing debuffs, this is the first debuff removal unit in JP. And EN, you already have the orb update, so it's not like this is as important, but it's still very good, right? Um, yeah, they had that update. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the deal. Next thing is Higu 3. Won't go over her kit because she, hopefully you read over her kit. Essentially, her main thing is she provides Mind Eye to all allies, and that, like I said before with Mua, very good, and very investful. So she does. We're gonna push her. So she was, of course, a little higher, but we're gonna push her a little bit. Just half step up right here, just because of the Mind Eye. Mind Eye is just a huge deal during this period of like trying to find methods. They did current 2025 JP. If you go through the timeline, just like a bunch of Mind Eye everywhere. They're like candy, but during this time it's still a little rare. So yeah, I think all the other healers are fine where they are. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you remember when? Do
probably.
you remember when Yanagis were like feel bad? Do you remember that? They only
Yeah.
there for SB donate and technically charge if you're running a charge team. Anyways, new units: Chie 4 and Nico. So let's go over Chie 4 first. Um, so Chie 4 uh is my nightmare. Um, if you don't know my history of Chie 4, she's released with Mona 3. I really wanted Mona 3. And I got out of this banner with LB3 Chie. No, LB 2.5 Chie 4 and 0 Mona copies. And technically, I did not hard pull on the banner. I just went to 50, and I was very unhappy. Oh, Red, do you remember that, or did I not tell you about that? Oh my god,
No, I've
dude.
definitely heard about this.
Yeah, she's right now 3.5. She's about to be LB4, bro. Uh, she, uh, uh, every time anyone hears about me making fun of Chie or hating on Chie, they're like, "Oh man, Chi's gonna come LB4 soon." I'm like, "No, please, please, no." That's history. Um.
Did you ever get Monica in the end? Like on any
Uh.
banner?
Oh no,
Do you have
I
her
got
now?
her. I got her
Okay.
from
At least there's
wishlist.
that.
I got her from wishlist. Okay, so this Chie is interesting healer. The main issue with her, and my complete opinion, is that um you need her to be LB3 before you feel like she's even worth putting on your team. The reason behind it is she's kind of like your healer that is only there to build OD and heal. She doesn't really do anything else. Um, let's go over her passives first. But yeah, she's a token unit, and you're like, oh man, token doesn't mean she does more damage. No. Um, in fact, her skills cost tokens. So every turn she'll get a token, right? And her passive for LB0 is whenever she attacks a unit, right? Um, well, per unit she hits, right? She will provide herself with one token, right? Um, which is nice. If you have an AoE and use her SS1's EX, you do get two tokens. Great, thumbs up. Her LB1 is every turn, no matter where she's placed, get one token. LB3 is whenever she uses her EX, doesn't matter which one, EX1 or EX4, right? Provides two morale. One of the few units that people think about having morale. Because, yeah, it's tied to her LB3 and not actually her real kit. So, shrug. Is she good? Her first skill hits for 10 times, which is where all her OD comes from, and she'll actually heal the party for the damage she deals, and recovers 3 SP for the whole party. So she is your battery. You know, every time you get to 5 tokens, use this. Bam, lots of OD, DP, SP, right? Um, her common skill is it looks really bad, but that's only because her EX4 doesn't cost SP, but it's 13 SP to give everyone 3 SP except for herself. So she can throw SP batteries like they're nothing. So she's just your crazy SP generator, OD generator plus healer. Unless LB3, then you get morale, right? Technically speaking, if you do have her SS1, she is nice to have because she will taunt, right? AoE provoke for 3 turns and have a defense buff for 3 turns. So she can really tank hits in the front and she can make your team tank hits. She's actually pretty solid as a healer if you want to survive and you need SPE. But otherwise, to increase your damage, not really good. Um, if you looked at JP side, I did rate her pretty pretty low, but like I said, in JP tier list, one means they're technically viable as they can do their job, and that's about it. She can do her job, um, and it's pretty good. But in EN basis, I'd rate her probably the same place I put Yanagi, since they technically also do their job, but they I think she's better than them in this regard. Um, and this is LB1, so we're not talking about morale. But yeah, SP generation stuff, I think this is like a fair placement to place her. Uh, unless I get convinced by Red, but I think this is probably the best place to put her. I don't think she's
Yeah.
worse than Tama 4. I definitely think she's better than these, right? So I think she goes here.
Yeah, she's pretty SP efficient for what she does. Can't really
Yeah,
argue with that. She just doesn't do a lot
yeah.
compared
Crit.
to another maybe really strong light unit who gives SP and generates a lot of overdrive and also provides additional utility on top of that.
Oh, am I thinking
Who
the
could
same
that
thing?
be?
I don't know, man. Who could that be? Um, she is fun to use, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Since I did get a lot of copies of her, yes, I have done score attacks where she's the main DPS. Yes, I have done score attacks where she is not. She's just there because she's LV 3.5, so I might as well. But do I?
She's a really cool style.
Her her
I like
her
the concept of
animation
this
is
memorial.
so good. I am so sad she's not good. I'm actually sad that she is not good, but she deserves to be good. I'm just sad she's not good. Her animation's good. Okay, no, I won't talk about that spoiler. I was talking about Red after stream. Um, but
I'm
yeah,
sure there's a lot to say about her.
she is not very good, but hey, her animation's good. She's cool. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Miko, next Miko. After that, to use the restroom again. But yeah, Miko. Um, Miko, 4, beautiful unit, but also has the same problem as Chie. Um, but beautiful unit nonetheless. So let's go over her passives so people understand how it corresponds to her kit because they're very important. So number one is she is Wakki minion, so she gets Wakki minion bonus. Don't worry about that. But if at the start of battle, she'll provide everyone in the front line +1 SP. So she already, without any LBs, provides a nice little bonus to the front line to the team. Can push Bungo to have enough SP to start dancing and everything and get the ball rolling. Very nice unit. For Wakki Minion, but outside of that, like weird utility she has, right? Frontline, every time she's there, +1 SP, the normal stuff. And then LB3, um, this may sound weird, but like this, you'll understand why this is like useful. So at the start of the player turn, if the skill she uses is 8 or less SP, she'll actually increase the the recovery boost of her healing skill by 40%. Um, she does not come with the overheal, but this is pretty good. And don't, yeah. Her EX skill is costing 8. As you can see, it's 8, right? So anything that can increase this cost by 1 will basically make her limit break passive worthless. Cough, cough, Yanagi. So, what does she do? So, just like Seda, every time she uses her EX, it will improve until you have a maximum variant. So the first time you use it, it's a very small heal. It's very bad. It provides everyone in the party except for herself as a battery +1 SP, and it'll hit the enemy 4 times. Don't care about the potency. It's by int. It scales by int, but you know who cares about her damage? Her damage is whatever, right? So 4 hits instead of 3 hits. Nice, right? Um, Provides everyone with 1 SP. Nice. Remember, Seda had her LB3 passive is if you give her SP, gives everyone else SP. So technically, it's a +3 SP if Seda is LB3. Um, After every use, the heal count goes up and the SP goes up for a max, and the damage goes up for a maximum of 4 times. Where the heal basically gets you to max DP, right? Because this scales with, oh, the damage scales with level. Oops. Uh, but if you have LB3, you have 40% bonus, so it doesn't matter. That's why this is important, by the way, the 40% bonus, because early amounts at like 2, it's still pretty low, right? So it just makes early much better. But yeah, it provides everyone with 4 SP every time you use this. And it's only 8 SP cost, right? Um, if Seda's on your team for Wakki minions, this skill will refund you technically 2 SP because you give Seda 4 SP, she gives the whole team 2 SP, right? So effectively, this gives 6 SP to the team and 2 SP to herself, making the skill cost 6 SP. It's very, very powerful in that sense. Her common skill, kind of who cares? But DP revival for an ally, 8 SP cost, who cares? Most of the time. The main drill is she is an SP generator with decent hits and will basically full heal your party, and that's all she does. She does her job well, but as a standalone unit, she's just as good as Chie, just existing and does her job, but nothing positive for damage, nothing really like defensive either. I think she's like not as good as Chie, but also it's not. not bad, just kind of there. If you put her in Wakki Minion's team, she is obviously extremely, extremely potent, extremely powerful. So um, bear with that. I think this is something like Red can agree with.
Yeah, she goes in one team, but she's pretty good with that team. So at least she has that going for her. She does.
Yeah, but
Oh,
yeah,
and
she's really
she's
good for
one
that set. So.
niche.
One niche, yeah,
She's
healing with SP pump.
very particularly, she's the first unit we've ever seen that has an unlimited healing skill.
Oh,
She
that's
can use it infinite
true.
times. This has never
Yeah,
been seen
since this
before.
has yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about that to say that. It has infinite use. So, if you are going into Soul Racker, you'll notice that nearly every team will have her and Sera in them because you can heal forever. Heal defense up forever. Can't die.
Yep, she can solo level 3 orb boss with a few hundred turns and a few hours of gameplay and a lot of investment. But she can do
That's
it,
true.
in theory. It's
I
pretty
mean,
funny.
people have posted it that they've done it. It's not even theory. It's real.
It's
Anyways,
I've seen
I'll
some
be
of it.
back. I'm going to. We're gonna start utility once I'm back, but I need to use the restroom again, so I'll be right back. Man, talking so much leads me to drinking more tea, which leads me to use the restroom so often. This is evil cycle of doom. Okay, so utility supports. Woo! Or not supports, but just utility. I just call it utility supports. This is nice. We have quite a few, I think, entry. I know for sure we have two here. We have Akari, which can also be a damage dealer. We should just do copy because it can be also damage dealer. We have Yuina. We have what? We have Dynami technically as utility. So, you know how much I hate saying this?
Offer.
Utility support. Hmm. But she kills her team.
Yeah, maybe she needs her own tier.
you you said utility support like team killer.
I mean, there's a few other units in that category.
This is a
Uh,
team killer, dude.
Fubuki
This
could
is
do that. She could
crazy.
remove her own DP.
Okay, Bungo technically also utility support at this time.
Yep.
Okay. Depends on when they change OD, to be honest. Hopefully Ian gets to play with that, but who knows? Yeah, so we have a bunch of utility support. Some of them can also be damage dealers. Um, Irene, I guess, is the only one that like wouldn't count for that. So it's remove her, blah blah blah, as damage dealer, blah blah blah. There we go. Yay. Um, there is a lot we have to go over, I guess. They bring out a lot of utility. Even in JP today, they're just throwing out a bunch of utility stuff. The more utility, the crazier things are. I think we should at least start off with the golden egg. Start off strong with the golden egg. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Yuina, the golden egg of utility supports. She is your main utility support if you are in light. If you are not running light, Yuina is kind of eh, and but so this is mostly looking at light. So please understand when you see this rating, this is for light. Um, Yuina, Anniversary 3 Yuina. Very much the main reason why Light comes back. Without her, Light is her and Diva together, sorry, are the reason why Light comes back. And then Ichiko 3 kind of seals the deal with the stamp. What does she do? We'll go over passives first, and then we'll go over her actives. Passives. At the start of any extra turn that she has, she'll provide herself with 2 tokens, just 2. You'll see how this is important later. The other one is DR rate goes up by 3% every token. Um, the Her LB1 passive is anyone who has 4 or more tokens gets +1 SP per turn. Do not, and I'll repeat, do not be baited by the fact that you're like, wait, does that mean she can give the whole team SP recovery? The answer is yes, but that's hella expensive. Don't do it. That's what I'm going to tell you, okay? The reason why 4 tokens, you'll see why it's 4 tokens and why it's important later. LB3 is anyone who has tokens will get 3% more damage per token, additive to enhances. Essentially, this is worthless. Absolutely worthless. Don't worry about it. Her EX, what brings back Light, and also confusing why in JP we still don't have anyone who does this. She provides 100% light crit rate for 5 turns and light crit damage for 130% light crit damage. So usually elemental crit damage is 90%. This thing is 130%. It's like 40 more than usual. It's like nearly double. Um why we don't know. Outside the fact it's Yuina. No other element has this. And that is a big problem with the new like damage changes, but that's like a big deal to talk about. Um, yeah, you think they're gonna release another 130% sometime
But they
soon?
have to eventually. Why haven't they?
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't. It's crazy, dude.
Yuina
Um,
was ahead of her time.
but yeah, she's ahead of her time. She's like the Yotsuha 1 of like yeah, she's like Yotsuha 1 in a sense. Okay, she gives AOE 8 hit. Look at that, AOE 8 hit. And yes, you're like, wow, that costs 16 SP. That's a lot. If you can't read here, essentially, if you have 4 tokens, um, you will half this cost. The DR rate is not very high, but at 8 SP cost, this thing is very cheap. Um, but yeah, I go like, okay, well, we'll see how hard it is to get 4 tokens. Remember, when she has an extra turn, she gets 2 tokens. Her um her common skill is 5 SP cost, gives extra turn, and gives everyone in the front line 2 tokens. So that means if you pop this for 5 SP, this thing already at the extra turn costs 8 SP. It's crazy. They honestly, to balance this, they should have made this 6. At least. Like, at least that's a challenge. But no, they didn't. Um, but yeah, can you spam this? The answer is yes. Okay, you can spam this. However, like through extra turns, you can. This is not like Uina, Uina 4 where this matters, right? It's not like that. It is like you can just spam it. However, just note that this thing does cost 5 SP, and your team to get +1 SP every turn needs 4. So this has to be shot at twice, which is 10 SP total. So make do what you will with that information. um, generally speaking, you will not fully make use of this passive on most of your team if they do not generate their own tokens. You could be like me and try your best to be like turn one or turn two, whatever. Haha, I used this twice, and now everyone in like at least three members are gonna have this. Yeah, might not be the best of ideas. I am not the best strategist, so yeah, I just try funny stuff. I don't really think it helped me, but I
There
like to
is one
pretend it did.
situation where it matters,
Yeah, there is. If it's on Ichigo,
like
what do you mean?
frequently. Yeah, exactly.
Haha. But
Gives you
that's
exactly
about
enough to
it.
turn to.
Um,
It's a big one though.
it is a big one. That's like her and like uh, and before Ichigo came out, baseball Ichigo, it was you would do that for Diva because you make her pump, right? Her
Yep.
SP. Outside of that, there wasn't very much use for it. Um
Pretty fun
Even
to
now
use
it's
on suppression
yeah.
missions where tokens don't reset.
Yeah, outside of that, it's like it's whatever. But yeah, big deal is provides very much needed DR for characters. I mean, for teams that nowadays I think you'll notice it is hard to find ways to build DR while also doing other things. So in JP in EN right now, most likely you're running someone DR, but they kind of just are there for DR rather than for DR plus something else. She's one of the early ones that can provide you DR and more. Um, of course, during this time in JP, we did get an update for not update, but an Evo for our favorite rice farmer, and she does get a nice. She loses out on defense down on herself, and it becomes gives everyone in the party except for herself plus 5 SP, which is huge by the way. Um, so she becomes very meta as a blaster, even if she is not of your element. So you can actually run her in your teams where you are missing an element, because her rice field is slightly worse than most fields, and you have a blaster that has battery. Basically, doing the same thing, but provides light crit damage. OP, really strong. Um, uh, After a whole year of having her and everything, I used to rate her a little bit lower. Top of nine for sure, hands down, top of nine. I used to rate her a little bit lower. If you look at my previous tier list, I am now solidifying like how I feel about her. She's top of nine. I don't think you can question that. I don't even think Red can convince me it's not top of nine. I think she's top of nine.
She's really, really good. And
You're still
also
far
appreciates
away.
having Diva hit buffer because he is a cheap ultimate. It has high hit
Yeah,
count.
yeah, she's crazy. Um, I don't think there's anyone who gets remotely close to her in how useful she is in utility. So that's the first one. We'll go down to like which ones I want to move, I guess, after that, because these girls are all gonna be middle of the pack somewhere for utility. But how do I feel about the rest of the girls, especially in the first group here? The main differences you'll see, um, is maybe by this time Yuki comes out, and also with her buffs question mark. I'm gonna rate it as if she didn't, so we're gonna pretend that's not the case. Um, Kuda gets now she has master skill, and hopefully we're gonna assume she gets her buff. Um, I am kind of leaning her to be like 8, like here. I might raise everyone up a little bit, but I think she's pretty high up. I think Aina 2. Ooh, Aina 2 should not be red anymore. Haha, she's been released. I think Aina 2 is like kind of under Yuina, but at the same time, the problem with Aina 2 is, uh, yeah, at this time, I think Aina 2 goes here. Yeah, I think that's where Aina 2 goes. Um, So Aina 2, I'll note some changes of why she is still rated highly during this time and what's going on. So Aina 2 I think is the second best utility support during this time. She does fall off very quickly due to the change I'm about to tell you how things work, right? So, Aina 2 provides hit count buff to self, right? Provides a lot of OD, provides defense down, right? Provides dark defense down, provides fragile if you have, any of her other styles, right? And overall, really strong. If you are using a skill that has 8 SP or less, it's stronger by 100%. Kind of worthless for her. Honestly, I wish she didn't have this. Um, gives herself +1 SP every turn. That's normal stuff. And then this skill, which is the main thing that we're gonna talk about. At LB3, sure, I'm rating her here for LB1, but I will note this LB3 thing has is a reason why she could be Yuina. She was supposed to be Yuina tier at LB3, and why I rated her highly back then. Probably about the same, if not higher than Yuina. Um, so she can actually boost defense down effects by 30% if the skill is 8 SP or less. You're like, okay, this is 7 SP. There's no problem, right? Um, and if you look at and that's AoE defense down, right? Um, and now you have SS3, which provides during overdrive plus 10% more defense down. That's additive to this, which is so it's 40% defense down. It's very strong. Um, Here's why Aina was considered even stronger, especially with the synergies that were available. So Admiral Aoi with Aina was the one true combo, um, where during that time Aina 2 was your light debuffer instead of Miko. The reason behind it was because of everyone's favorite thing, the orb. Oh wow, these orbs are right here too. Um, So the I should put orb here. It's probably gonna show up. Yeah, orbs. Okay. Now you're like, why orbs? Softening orb, which is a single target defense down, the thing that Aina does not have, right? Costs 9 SP. With Admiral Aoi, that's 8 SP, which means this actually gets the bonus of 30% more defense down. And that was massive, right? So 30% more defense down from this softening debuff, and Aoi allows you to use it twice. So because of that, an additional time, so she can actually provide a lot more defense down. So that's why she's so powerful. She does fall off in JP, as you can see in JP. I do rate her much under Yuina, like a lot more under Yuina, but she is very strong still, and should be notably taken as so. Of course, without LB3, this is not as big of a thing, which is why they're not neck and neck. But I would have put her neck and neck if it was LB3. Which sounds really crazy, by the way, but it is how big of a deal Aina 2 was during that time if you had a built account. I don't know if Red even knew about this, but this is something that KSW and I were talking about all the time.
Yep.
But yeah, I
Yeah, I
think this
can
is
kind
fair.
of do something similar as well,
Yeah.
which is
and
something that helped her out a lot.
Yep. And I think the synergy of these two is what kicked it off. And the fact that you do not need Diva to help them do their thing, right? They're a combo. That's why they're next to each other. Look at that. Um, Next thing that comes in mind after Aina is going to be in the tier 8 section. I think it's fair to say that these two fit that bill, right? Like, I think
Yeah,
I think Aina should stay down here. I think Koju, Yuki, these four should
definitely
be
Yuki,
right here.
definitely Yuki,
Yeah.
definitely
I think
Kura.
you'll agree with me. I'm just gonna move like this, like literally like
Yep,
this. I think this is correct way of doing things, and I think you can definitely move Kuda up here. Yeah,
yep,
because she has the bonus of the +5 SP. I think this is fair. There we go. anyone else deserve to go with them? Uh, Probably Yuina here, huh? Still at this time, yeah, at this time in this era, yeah, Yuina's still up here. Yuina 4. So, um, there we go. And everyone else kind of didn't get very much things. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I think this is fair, right?
Looks good.
Yeah. So Koju still good. Um, Morale always good. Um, OD always good. Debuff down always good. So she's still really strong. Yuki before her buffs, she wasn't really used, wasn't needed. A large part of it is because you're already hitting max, or you didn't really need hacking to do what you needed to do on score attacks and whatever. Like, sure, you're at like what 500, um, 500 border, but it wasn't that big an issue that you had to push it down to 400. Um, but it was useful. And Kuda just having +5 SP was pretty captivating, as much as it was for Yuki doing her thing. So, name it as you will. Just, that's how I would rate it. Fubuki always having that, extra SP, always nice. I mean, SP OD from 75%, just straight off the bat for 4 SP, really nice, especially if you pair it up with Admiral Aoi. It was like 3 SP or something crazy like that. And Yuina definitely got the better end of the stick with Aoi being around, right? Um, and these three kind of didn't. I think everyone else kind of should stay. Like, I did bring them down one notch, but I think they kind of deserve it. like,
Yeah, but Inori 3 gets pretty good with Diva. Come on. That's gotta be worth
uh,
something. No, not even one spot.
no, that deserves a spot up. I think that deserves like a whole section up. I think that's like fine.
It
I
is pretty
think,
much the only reason to ever use her.
yeah, you're not wrong about that. I do kind of agree with that. Um, I'm trying to think here real quick. If anyone else deserves a spot up, I think Hisame also deserves a spot up. I don't know. I can't really like speak of a true reason, but I don't think she deserves to be under Inori.
Yeah, she
Um,
should at least be next to Inori.
yeah, definitely not lore reasons, but like actually, like I don't think that the kit is so bad that I would rate her under Inori in this sense. Um, just play through the event. Always worth doing these stories. Yeah, I like to read the stories. They're nice. They're better than a lot of game main stories that I've read. So thumbs up. Always like it. But yeah, I think this is fair. Like, I think Hisame just isn't used because they're just better options, as you can see up here. I could just not have this read anymore. Um, so that's kind of the reason, but she is still very good. In fact, funny note, freaking Rem still uses her. Did you know that?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't know
Rem
anyone
still uses
used her.
her for Soul Racker.
In like the orbit battles or in the main battle?
In the orbit battle as a solo unit.
Oh, okay.
Like literally just solos everything with her. Let's see. I guess Hisame could be moved up here. Honestly, she could just be removed from the whole thing, from the whole list. Yeah. So we're gonna now place the new units where they belong in here, or what we believe should be placed. We'll start off in somewhat of an order. Akari 3. We'll go over Kit and why. Akari 3 is one of my um, favorite gimmicky characters. I mean, styles that are good and bad at the same time. They're like really bad, but also really good at the same time. And she is one of the primary reasons why Fire had a loop team, and that loop team caused WFS to decide to um, change OD to have a maximum amount of times. She's one of the
I thought they
reasons.
did that
Bungo
because of
being the other.
Dark Yotsuha being an infinite looper with very
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
minimal
No, no,
effort.
no, no.
Oh,
When
I
you
guess
put
that
them
was
all
with Bungo
together,
too. Yeah.
yeah, you put them all
Okay.
together, and it's just ugh, disgusting. Um, First of all, let's go over passives and why she's bad. Is this 5 turns negative mind? She lowers her damage dealt by 100%. So yes, she does deal 1 damage per hit. Um, no matter how weak the enemy is. Increases damage taken by 100%. So if the enemy touches her, she explodes. 5 turns. Um, yeah, so she has slow start, just like Regigigas from Pokemon. It is very important to know that this is a thing. So if you do need to use her earlier, you do need to bring someone who can get rid of debuffs, or she has to waste SP and a turn to remove the debuff through an orb. That's the reason why she's bad. The rest of her kit is really good. I wish her kit was better to make this a real problem for her, as in like it was worth having this skill, because I feel like even without this skill, um, she's just balanced. That's just my opinion. LB0 passive. Why she's so good? She's currently the only unit, I think. I don't think there's a single unit outside of her. That will actually um have a permanent hit count buff. So she has a hit count buff of 5, and it's permanent. This buff will actually stack with any kind of hit count buff, including Diva's turn based one. This is because it's a passive. So just note that this is always available. This is always like there when she does hits, which is why, as you can see, why she'll build a bunch of OD. SP per turn, don't worry about that. And her LB3 is who cares really. Removes buffs from enemy, provide 50% OD. Whatever. Her EX will dispel 2 buffs and hit AoE damage. Since she's a breaker, it's 50%, damage bonus. DP, DP mod. 16 SP, uh, and she will do this for you, right? As you can see, there's seemingly no difference outside of DR going from 3 to 18. Um, what does this say up here? It says that you do not have this debuff. So if you have this debuff, it is costing you. It mean not costing. Sorry, DR is 3. If you don't have the debuff, the DR rate is 18. So it's pretty high, and it's a breaker. So it's actually just a blaster breaker, and it hits 4 times, but technically 9 because of this. The biggest thing about her is you're like, wait, but that's a large cost, 16. You can't read it here, but if you do not have this debuff, this is half cost, so it costs 8. Sure, you can't spam it, but like it's pretty good in that sense. Her common skill allows you to run your EX twice, which is really nice. Um, and has oh, dude, I'm so tired. I'm talking too much, Red. And if you can't read here, it notes that if you're unlucky, right? Because she's a luck-based character, I guess. That she'll actually decrease her defense, for 2 turns. That's what it says bottom here. And that's what this luck here is based off of, if you're wondering. So think of it kind of like mini Bungo in a sense. Yet whoop-de-doo. Now she builds OD like crazy because of the 5 hit count, and you actually pair that skill. You pair that with I think our common skill. Yeah, our common skill, which has 2 hits, 5 SP, and uh, provides 15% OD. So you provide 15% OD for 5 SP, and it says 7 hit. I mean, it's 2 hits, but remember her passive, so 7 hits. So 7 hits plus 15% OD. She's an OD generating monster. So utility wise, what she does is blast and a bunch of OD, like crazy amounts of OD, and that's her job. Um, since she kind of doesn't really do anything else and just does crazy OD, I kind of just put her around like here. In fact, I kind of put her at 7. I think she is definitely just a kind of a better version of Inori in a sense. That she kind of gets a lot out of her kit for OD generation and DR more than Inori does. So I think this is like a fair place to put her. Um,
Yeah,
Strong. Uh, we're nearly done, but you only have like 30 minutes left, Red, right?
I can hang in there.
Okay. Um. Let's go with what's next. Was Wakki next before Nanami? Or was it Nanami before? I just go Wakki, I guess. Wakki 4. The Wakki that like people thought was good when she first came out. Until they realized that she wasn't. LB0. If she's in the front line, and the enemy's at downturn. I realized I didn't say up here, but 25% attack up. Worthless, really. LB3 passive is whenever the enemy gets above 200% OD for the first time or just one time, party gets 5 SP. Very nice to have, very much not needed. Um, Her EX is 17 cost SP, hits 8 times, and has a very high potency of maximum 19k. Not that you'll hit it in JP nowadays, but in EN, you might be able to hit it for a while if you max her out. Um, you can technically say she's better Adele in a sense. She provides 32 DR rate, and if you have Nuka buffing her, yeah, she deals a crap load of damage. Her common skill provides the front line except for herself, so it's just an SP donate of 3. So she will spend 6 SP of hers to give 3 each to each side, technically, of her, right? It's just a regular SP donate, just halved. The only one that's like this, actually,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, she seemingly is good because of her DR rate being 32, and she can give everyone SP, and she can build DR really fast. And she can deal good damage, especially if you run her SS1 for just like the raw damage and the HP mod. Um, in a sense, she's supposed to be a good unit, but you don't need that much DR built. You don't really need her for anything really. So I kind of she's kind of here. Like she's not bad. I think she's strong, but I don't think like there's so many other units you can use, and so she's just kind of there. I think this is like a fair place to put her. I hope you can agree. She's
Yeah, I don't know.
okay.
I'm biased towards her, so I'd want to put her higher, but
You
there's
want
no
to put
really
her
good
higher?
reason for it.
Would you
I use
I
her in
can't
Soul Raker a lot,
I mean I can't
like
deem
with
her
multiple
worthy of
HP
being
bars
the
and H
same
shields.
place as Akari though.
No, she
Cause
really
Akari
isn't.
Cause Akari also you can use her and abuse her for fucking uh what's it called again? Like elemental shield if they're ice elemental shield E shield. So like there's just so much more use for Akari than there is for Wakki. Um I don't think Waki's bad. I just don't think she's meta defining, and I think a lot of people thought she was because of her numbers and stuff. And I was never convinced, and I was never corrected that I was not convinced. I was never convinced that she was like meta defining. Um, Nanami, everyone's favorite slurper. Uh, do I have to go over? I think Ian already has her. There's no point in going over
They
her,
do
right?
already have her.
Yeah, so
She
there's
was
no
the
point in going
first
over her. Um,
turn-based buffer they got,
yeah, so her
which is
utility is
pretty interesting.
turn-based buff, for regular enhance, thunder enhance. I mean thunder crit damage, and outside of that, not really anything. She will hurt your team, and it sucks. How hard or easy it is to get her to get the ball rolling is 8 turns, unless LB3, which is 4 turns. Still a big, massive pain. In fact, you know what? I shouldn't put her in utility. I should put her in buffer, an elemental buffer, and I think she deserves to be like right here in 6. Bottom of six. Coding. When I say first turn based buffer, I mean enhanced buffer, right? Um, and elemental. We're just gonna
Yeah,
bottom
Sana
of
doesn't
six.
count.
I think she's clearly bottom of six. You're just it's too slow. It's just purely at LB1 purely too slow. Absolutely meh, right? In fact, I might even put him lower than this. If I wasn't biased, I probably would put him lower than this. Um, we'll go to Irene next. Irene, ooh, Irene. Honestly, this Rem loves this Irene. I won't lie. Anyways, Irene,
She's a pretty good
yay.
Irene.
Um, decent unit. Very niche. If you fill her niche, she is very good. If you do not fill her niche, she is aight. Uh, growth stuff is skill up instead of heal. Just remember that's a thing. LB0 passive is that she will boost up how much she heals if she has negative SP. This is very important. um, provide 1 SP per turn in the front line, and then she starts battle with plus 5 SP. Um, kind of kind of good because she can pop skills pretty early. What's her kit about? We'll start off with her EX. She will heal the party, and then everyone in the party, everyone in the party, not just frontline, everyone in the party, if you are lower than 10 SP, you will get to straight to 10 SP. So if they're at negative 99, they'll become 10 SP. This is a very good skill if you need to use your SP like crazy, and then you just need to pop this to like get like 8 or 7 SP back. Now, I will note that this 10 SP triggers before your plus turn SP. So if you are supposed to get like let's say like plus 2 SP when you're in the front line or whatever, you will get that. This will trigger before that happens. So technically speaking, your front line for that character will be at 12 at the beginning of the turn instead of 10. Just to clarify, anyone who doesn't know. Now, why does this skill matter? Right? More, more healing if she is in negative SP is because if you can't read here, it says that you can use this for 0 cost if you're at if you're under 0 SP. So if you're at negative 1 SP, this skill cost 0 SP to cast. And you can cast this for free. Um, if you are above uh 0 SP, you must consume SP to use this skill. If I'm not mistaken, this skill cannot be used unless you have 10. You do not go negative with this skill. It's her common skill that you go negative with. Um, and so her common skill is 14 SP, and I'll put you in the negatives. It's just a 5-turn party buff, um, turn-based attack buff. Nanami has the same thing, but with less SP costing, so it's technically a worse version of Nanami's. Except for Nanami, you will reduce your DP. This will not. Um, it's also technically weaker because she doesn't have the 25% boost um, on buffing, but that's besides the point. But yeah, very good, very strong. If you are running a team that needs to spam, she has very nice utility with um, getting everything to become exactly at 10 SP. So I personally do like her kit, do like her. I don't really use her often because there's really no point for what I'm to do. But I do kind of deem her to be relatively strong. I think this Aina actually needs to move. I'm gonna move this Aina first. This Aina deserves to be a little bit lower. I think she's gonna. I think I'm gonna put Irene in that place. I think this she deserves to be like where Maki is. There you go. What do you think? I think this is good, right? I think Irene deserves to be
Yeah. She is a
with,
tough unit to rank because she kind of
yeah.
does a lot of things that are kind of niche.
And then Aina should be like right here. I think Aina should be moved down here because there's a lot of characters that can just, I mean, styles that can just do her job. Not
Yeah.
like better, but this like you can feel her niche, her multiple niches with multiple units that can do way more things. And then Bungo. Why is she utility? Everyone's gonna be like, oh, why is she utility? Uh, if you don't know about the loop demon, she's the reason. Honestly, um, if you think Aoi SS1 was the first mistake WFS made, this one is truly one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made as well. Not the top one, but is one of the most egregious ones that they made as they released the character. I don't think they realized how unbalanced this character was. I mean, the style was when they released it, and to this day, it's biting them in the ass. Like it is actually just biting them in the bum. Um, and I think Red can agree with me on that. I think for them to try to
Yep.
balance things, them trying to like all this stuff that you see, like oh yeah, like border difference, damage calc difference, all this stuff, and OD changes. This is the monster that did it, by the way. Like if you actually want to know whose fault it is, it's this style's fault. I think
Yeah.
most people
Don't be
can
fooled
agree
by
with
the
me.
smile.
Yeah,
She's a
don't be fooled
menace.
by like by the smile. Don't be fooled by like oh but Yanagi and all this. No. It's this freaking demon. Okay, this is the one that ruined everything. Okay. However, that's how good she is. Okay. To be fair, what does she do? Uh, provides SP to the whole team every turn if you have Wakki minion buff. She will provide that with her skill. By the way. She starts off with Lucky Minion buff. What does it do? It is a multiplier. It should be 30 in EN when she comes out, unless they did the damage changes by then. It's 30% weakness damage, so it's the same multiplier uh as Mind Eye. So if you have Mind Eye, boom, right? It's the same multiplier. It's additive. So technically speaking, even if you don't have Mind Eye, it was like 60% Mind Eye, right? Um, not bad. Um, right here at the start of player turn, if you use a skill, um, any skill that is 8 SP or less, um, increases the party's attack. Yes, the party, right? Um, by 100%. It does not stack. It just happens once, right? Sorry, it's not party. Sorry, it's for that character. So that character, whoever uses that skill, ASP. I just reread it. I was like, wait a second. I don't remember being this bid. So she herself can buff herself. She can make this into 8 SP. It says 16, but you can make it 8, and she will buff herself for 100% damage. Um, her LB3 is anyone who breaks the enemy, including herself, so herself or someone else, extends the break turn for 1. So it's not like the enemy can't attack you for 1 turn, they can't attack you for 2. So it's really strong there. LB4, which is where she's even more ridiculous, is once you have 6 Wakki minion buffs, you will increase your OD gauge by 100%. This is an LB passive. You get to LB4, you have Seda and if you have the new Seda, right? Seda 4, and you have Miko 4 on your team, and they're in the front while Bungo is in the front dancing to give everyone Wakki minion buff. That's right. The next turn, you're already at an extra per 100% OD. It's crazy. Um, Now let's go over her skills, right? First skill is she dances and gives everyone the back line, like Yotsuha gives everyone the back line, a buff, which is she makes them into a Wakki minion. This is not a consumable buff. This is a perma buff that will just stay. I don't since I don't use her. I don't actually know. This does not does this persist through waves slash through um dungeons? Do you know?
No clue.
Yeah, I've never actually tried it. So if anyone actually knows, you can chime in. But I actually never tried it because I don't use her in JP. But yeah, she's just really good in that sense.
I don't think it does. The curry buff also doesn't last across battles, does it?
It doesn't. The curry doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. I assume it's the
Um,
same.
Bungo's EX. Why she's ridiculous.
That's a lot of tabs.
Yeah. So each of these say how many minions you got, right? You gotta have one follower, two, three, four, five, six, right? Um, don't worry too much about what any of these say. Six is where it matters. So you're gonna be dancing, right? Until everyone is a minion. Oh, not in dungeons? Okay, thanks, Bento. Um, she's gonna Bungo's gonna be dancing until everyone's a minion, and when everyone's a minion, she's gonna be firing off this skill like crazy. What does it do at max stacks? You get two buffs of large funnel, so large hit count. It says 25. That's JP numbers. It should be 40 in EN on release. If they release her before the changes, and so she gets right here, as you can see, +3, +3. So you don't need Diva when you use her as your main source of damage. Because they don't stack. +3, +3. 6 hits. On top of, it's a built-in 6 hits that already hits 10 times. That is 16 hits for an EX that, if you can see here, has zero usage. So you can spam this continuously forever. The DP amount dealt is 100% multiplier. The potency isn't very high. It's actually on the weaker end. However, if you look right here, the pierce it's a pierce crit skill. Then instead of doing the regular 400% pierce crit, it's 500%. So it's even higher, and it hits 16 times. You don't need Diva. You can take out Diva from your team and still function totally fine as a damage dealer. So if you're going Wakki Minion teams and you're going with Bungo as your main damage dealer, Diva is kind of skippable in a sense, but until we get to Bungo, you really want Diva. Why am I saying that she is a utility support? Is because she does hit 16 times, and you can spam this skill. Yes, it says 16, but at one of these points, for how many minions you have, it halves the cost to 8. So it's actually an 8 cost skill that you can spam endlessly and hit 16 times. An 8 skill, 16 hit um, skill is ridiculous. The DR rate is not very high, but it's also allowing you, if you loop with her, to build DR to max DR. So she is absolutely ridiculous as support, especially back in the day. That yeah, she's your basic go-to looper. Uh, and it and but at OD1, I mean at LB1, she is not the greatest thing in the world. For that, because you do want her LB4 to like start looping and everything, but it's strong enough to like put her within strong. I'm gonna put her around where Akari is. I think this is a fair assessment of how powerful her utility for just giving an extra multiplier, not multiplier, extra additional multiplier for Mind Eye, and for just being a um, OD looping menace to society. So yeah, the reasons why there's a lot of change in JP and why everyone's been crying is because they released this girl and then she ruined everything. GG. And I don't think there's anyone to change anything else, right? I think that's good
Yep,
for
that's good.
utility. Yep. Okay. Now we're going to damage. Damage dealers. Um, we have new damage dealers. As you can see, they're all right here. I want to change this to saying 5+1. I understand that it's supposed to assume that we have all of them, but I really want to emphasize you want 5+1. You can't do without it. Um, and yeah, I don't think for the most part the damage dealers really change how good they are. However, I will note that anyone that already came with um oh yeah. Of course, Bento. Yeah, you're right. Bungo also, I forgot to mention. Sorry, I'll go back to Bungo. Because she gives everyone Wakki minion, she does have technically a mini battery plus one SP to everyone. So yeah. Anyways, I just totally forgot about that because um, looping, you don't even use turns. Anyways, anyone now, I already lowered units like Adele's, that would make use of Diva, and as you can see, a lot of the Rukas also dropped, mostly because they can't make use of the Diva buff. Um, Honestly, this list doesn't really change except for Mona. I think Mona's the is Mona the only one? Excuse me, is Mona the only one that changes on here? I think so. I think Mona's the only one that goes up, right? Mona basically just goes up where Inodi is. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. She
I think
definitely does
everyone
go
else
up.
is. I think everyone else. I think we're gonna bump everyone up a whole tier. I don't think there's a reason to lower them. I think just bump them back up a whole tier. Yeah. I'll explain Mona real quick before we go forward. Why Mona goes up to the top, right? Is Mona's SS3 comes out, and yes, it doesn't say SS3. It's supposed to assume it, but I really want people to know this is um like +3. Um, so like uh, should I just do with 3? Is this better? I don't know. With SS3, very important to note. So I'm just gonna put it in there. That is because her SS3 provides this right here. Yes, it costs a lot. 16 SP provides self light attack up, turn based, and self mind eye turn based. This does a lot for her, as now you can work around not needing anyone who brings mind eye and not anyone who needs light enhance. That's the main thing that light teams are going to be missing is light enhance um, itself. So yeah, there's that. Um, oop, did I mess up? Oops. Give me a sec. I accidentally ripped it out. There we go. So yeah, that's why she goes up, and she has one of the highest potencies for. Actually has the highest potency, um, for AOE damage, um, in the game. I think even in JP right now, she has the highest. Even if the enemy is not weak to anything, I think she is number one. Um, if you have the perfect meta team and the perfect conditions. Yeah, I think everyone deserves to go back up one. So I'm just gonna bring them back up one. Yeah, I don't see a reason why they shouldn't go up one, and I just place everyone back into the list accordingly.
Mhm.
Um, so we'll start off with from top to bottom, I guess. Akari 3 as an AoE damage dealer. She is pretty strong, but she doesn't have an HP mod. She does come with a lot of utility, which makes her very nice to use. Um, just like how she has nice utility and how she has just massive damage. However, I don't you you don't really use fire for AoE anyways, so yeah, I don't see her being particularly crazy good. I think I just put her around here, man. I think like top of 6 is fair for Akari. A large part of it is based off of utility and things. Karen doesn't is like, hey, I really don't need Diva to be honest, but can make use of her. Akari is just worse of that, and kind of needs a team a little bit around her. So yeah, that's kind of why I put her at 6. Like I said before, for all these tiers for damage dealers, it's really hard to rate damage dealers that aren't in the top two. If you're not in the top two, it's difficult because
They're
it
mostly the
depends on the
same.
team. Yeah, they're all the same really.
They'll do
But
the
the
job.
top two areas are always concrete on why they're the top. Did I miss anything from saying that?
No, don't think so.
Okay. Um, I think at this point Momo was still good. We just have a new god, so I'm gonna place the new god where she deserves to be, and that's right there. Um, just too good. Um, I think Momo 3. I think Irene 2 we should lower, and Momo 3 we should lower to the spot that um Irene 2 was at in terms of like in this case like this. I think this is fair, right? Um, And since Momo is gonna be out soon, I'm just gonna change this. I think it's fair. Just change. Boop.
Yep, that seems fair.
Uh, just gonna do this. And Yuina, I think deserves this spot right here. Bam. So, um, if you want to know who the best damage dealers for single target are, there you go. For the next couple of technically kind of did too as well. So, like this, right? For the next couple of like months, essentially, this is like your go-to. Everyone else, is not that they're bad, but they're all pretty much the same. Once you have Diva, and this set here, if you have these as your main damage dealer, you're for a single target, you're pretty much set if you have the supports to support them. Um, Obviously Kanade being the most hungry out of all of them in terms of the other characters she needs to be brought with her, and everyone else being much more on the free to play option. Granted that they're not free to play. Especially if you see Ruka here, she needs more than one part, and she also requires herself to have um, her limited version, which hopefully you got. I think Yostar said what like 33% of people or whatever in their game got it. Question mark? I don't know. Something like that. Um, yeah,
Not needs to be higher.
yeah, I don't know.
Need everybody to have her.
I also am less having value on Wakki L3 in this meta. Um, I actually gonna move these girls down. I think she deserves to go down. Um, I am like AOE is a weird spot. They're all kind of weird or mid or bad. None of me, obviously being LB0, deserves the meme tier. So she kind of meme, man. I don't know. I'm not very happy with her, but I think she deserves probably right here. Hmm. That was about good. I can't fully rate her. She's not that great. Um, I think we should move up Hisame. I'll note why she gets moved up, but she does actually deserve a move up. Um, Mona 1 technically moves up to here. These are weird choices, I know. I don't. It's gonna be hard for me to explain them. But just bear with me. Um, yeah, that's about it. I don't think there's any movement here. And
I
then
think
we
Maria
can
too should move down.
Maria 2. Okay, yeah, I can move her down. That's fair.
All right.
Technically Luca 2 should also move down, I think. Akari goes up at this point. Karen, yeah, Karen also goes down. Um, Nina, no, Nina's still pretty eh. Honestly, a lot of the AOE damage dealers are kind of eh. To be fair, they're all kind of yeah. There we go. There you go. You hate to see it, I guess. Some of the nice and fine characters go down a little bit. Hisama getting pushed up. Haha, funny jokes. Um, she already got the buffs, but I think that I was a little too harsh on her, which is why I'm bringing her up. But yeah, I want to fill in these, and then I'm going to talk about. Actually, I want to talk about Hisame first. Um, Hisame. Oops, spelled it wrong. even less active. Hope to focus more on HBR. I mean, at the very least, in my opinion, HBR is more of a side game. You can kind of AFK most of the time and it's fine. Like you're not too worried.
think these
He
are
submit.
really fast.
Yeah, just read whenever you have time, right? He submit. What's the changes with her? They buffed her not recently. I think like 6 months ago they buffed her. Battle start 2 SP, right? Um, and also that charge now
Reduces the
makes
cost
this
by half.
reduces the cost by half. Uh, charge, yeah, half. SP, making this 7 SP, is a big deal, in my opinion. Um, a large reason why you're like, uh, yeah, he's Hisama 4 is not out. Very sad. He's why I'm saying I kind of undervalued her is before the 2 SP and the half cost, it was just kind of expensive to use her. She doesn't really bring much to the table, and the more I like sat down thought about it, I kind of try to use her in JP, but it was really hard because mine is like LB0 and stuff. But there are points that are people say that are pretty valid about her that I don't want to discredit, um, per se, right? I think a major pointer factor is that yes, she does have a pierce crit skill that can help you break if you really need a break and all that stuff. During this meta, it's still like you have your supports break or your damage dealers break, whatever. Yeah, she can do this for really cheap. 5 SP into extra turn into 7 SP is also very cheap. The only thing is she is missing the dark crit damage that like is very hard to get in general, um, for dark teams. Even to this day that it's out, even until like Yotsuha, it's technically kind of difficult, and even then it's still kind of annoying. Um, the only reason the way you can have it is if you have Iroha 2 plus Iroha 1, and then you can give dark crit damage. That being the case, Hisame should come up a little bit because the difference between Yuina and Hisame is Yuina already comes with that and her own dark enhance, and Hisame doesn't have the dark enhance. Um, Granted that the other supports like Kasa and stuff can bring those buffs, but I do think um, that she deserved to be not down here where I had her and have that giant gap. I think she should be a little bit higher. Mona definitely, in my opinion, is better than these two. Just that she is worse because she really needs help to get there, like a lot of help to get there. So um, I kind of put her lower. Yes, she will have Mind Eye, which is why I raised her from where she was before. And if not, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna raise her up one more. Screw it. I think she can be Hisame level. Um, this is like expecting you are running SS3 passive right with her, or you're running her on her SS3. Um, Very much like the go-to. I think this is a fair assessment. I don't know how Red feels about this, but like I think that this is pretty fair.
I like how all the dark AoE damage dealers are just in a little cluster here.
Yeah, they really are. They're like I don't think I'll be mad. Like even in JP, when dark damage whatever comes by, you only see Mona because the main people who post are posting like max score stuff, and Mona's better for max score. But if you actually look at like lower tier people like trying to clear that stuff and getting good scores, Yuina 3 and Hisame 2 are very common and very
Yep.
much show their power. And those people who are running Yuina and Hisame are literally unable to run Mona because Mona asks you to have an account that is built. Like you don't have that. Oh well, I guess you should actually just use Yuina Hisame, and Yuina Hisame just do the job. Well, Mona is like, hey, okay, I am the boss. You guys are the minions. You guys give me everything I need, and it's just very difficult to use. But she is very good. Don't get me wrong. As for single target damage dealers, we can add these to the list. Wakki 4, like I said earlier, Doesn't deserve these top slots here. I think she is
Definitely
closer
not.
to Adele. I kind of slot
Yep,
her next to Adele. Um, she is technically better than Adele.
they are very comparable though. It
Like
really
very, very
depends on the type of
comparable.
content that you're using them in, which one you'd prefer.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put them next to each other. Doesn't mean that Adele's better. This is like the same. Mona 3 is technically up here. She technically goes better than Kanade 1. So must be under Yuina but over Kanade. So she deserves this spot. Um, right here, perfectly slotted in. What a beautiful unit. Her ult is peak, but you never get to see it because Mona 2 is technically better than her for even single target. So feels Omega bad. You know that her numbers, Mona 2 is
Yep,
better than Mona 3? It's crazy.
I'm
It's
aware.
crazy.
It's
It's crazy. That's not fair. That's not fair.
it's not fair. She has such a
It's
cool
not fair.
ultimate animation too.
I know. I
It's
they
so cool.
I won't lie, they should have increased her damage literally by 1,000. At her max pot,
Yeah,
just like inch it by 1,000. That's it. That's all I needed to do. Maria 3. Oh yeah, we should probably go over Mona's 3 kits. Since we are placing her. We already talked about Wakki, so there's no reason to talk about Wakki. But Mona
yeah,
3.
she's pretty straightforward. It shouldn't take long.
Um, Mona 3, very straightforward unit. She does better damage on extra turn. We already talked about her comment, but I'll go over everything. So, whenever she attacks, gets token. Yay! She's a token unit, except for she's instead of increasing her damage with token, her ult eats tokens. Um, Another passive for a passive, her second passive, um, is when you use your EX, you get an additional turn. Kind of whatever, for score attack, but can be useful for like content where you're hitting a boss multiple times because, well, you need to, right? Um, don't think about it too hard. Uh, Usual, every turn +1 SP, and her LB3 passive that you'll basically never see because you're not gonna have her LB3 is extra turn and increases her attack up by 40% instead of the usual 25 to 30% you see from most things. This is actually one of the highest out there. Um, I think the highest is 50 for your self buff. Um, Instead of any kind of team thing. I think like for yourself for LB3, that's not to like limited units or whatever. I think this is the highest. I mean, that's 50 is the highest, and this is 40, and the lowest is like 25 or something, right? Um, her EX, very very nice, right? Um, Nearly 18k pot with 50% uh HP mod is a very nice skill to have, but it costs 5 tokens and does not scale with the tokens, which is very unfortunate. If you have 10 if you have 10 tokens, uh you will um you can use the ult and then you can use ult again. As you can see, you get an extra turn from using ult. Um Yeah, if you look right here, you'll notice, oh, that damage is much lower. That's because that's if you're in extra turn or if you're not in extra turn. She can provide herself extra turn. Could she? I
He has
think
like
she
a
did,
common
right?
skill from early on.
It's this one. There it is.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure she had one. Yeah, so she can give herself token, the attack up. Who cares? But she could provide extra turn for herself, so she can get into extra turn without forcing to use her ult. So this here is basically a worthless passive, to be fair. And the only reason why you would use her over Mona 2 is Mona 2 would require you to get to 10 tokens, while she requires you to get to 5. So only because of things like that, if you really need the speed, she is better. And the max pot difference is so small. I think it's like 500 or 1k. Um, that you could just go for this Mona instead. But most people have this Mona max LB, and most people do not have her max LB. just because it's just not worth it unless you somehow get it off. Um, she has an EX passive, so it's tied to literally just this version, which is kind of funny. Um, and allows her to actually be used in two target fights, but it doesn't help you for score attack. It just weirdly exists. But yeah, she has a her normal attack is replaced by an AOE of a one hit AOE. So instead of just doing like um one hit single target, it's one hit AOE. Um, this new auto attack is considered a skill, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, Red, and if you don't know, I might have to get back to it. I might just type it into the comment section, but I think this counts as a skill even with hit count buff, if I'm not mistaken. I
Never
might
tried
be,
that.
and what?
Never tried that.
Yeah, I might be wrong. I will type in the comments what I real like. I have her, so I'll test it. I
All right,
for
I'll
some
run
reason
the
remember
test.
that
I've
being a
got
thing.
my game open. Don't worry.
Oh, you can. Oh, you can test. Okay, well, continue talking while you test. Um,
All right.
and she can provide herself mind eye and attack light attack up, which is always a big bonus. So she does good damage, and she is just better version of Kanade one, right? If you look at her potency, it's higher. If you look at the buff she provides herself, it's higher, right? Um, and so she's just in a sense a better Kanade one. That's pretty much it. Um, then lastly we have Maria, righty. Um, and Maria one, she is your int based damage dealer. Very strong for fire. In fact, she is the strongest after Diva. So I am going to stack her right next to Mona because that's how good she is. But you do have to build around her because she is very reliant on the team. What does she do? Um, Frontline, she will provide herself more recovery effect. That's important for this skill. Don't worry about it. And her LB3 is that if her DP is 150% or higher, she gives everyone one SP. Granted, this list is based off of LB1, so we're gonna ignore this. But this is a very nice niche thing to have that um, most people probably won't think about. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Her EX is based off of her DP. So whatever the numbers say here, don't think about it too hard. Um, just note that this skill has pretty high potency. Um, More than this. It goes up. And it has a HP mod, and it scales only off of int, which means that she will hit border much easier than most units will. So she hits like a truck. Um, Her common skill provides herself with DP, and as you can see, it goes up with level, and this will allow you to heal more. So think of it kind of did two right now, just a worse version and fire in terms of her max damage pot.
It
The main
does
difference
work
between
with multi-hit. There you go.
it does work with multi. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, I thought so.
30%
I
off
thought
of
so.
the normal attack on 2 targets.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah. So yeah,
Nice.
Mona's thing is if you give her with Diva buff, like she's insane how much OD she can get just from auto attacking. Anyways, um, back to Maria here, right? She is basically kind of at two in basically all the sense except for the fact that she herself does not provide herself mind eye if you have kind of to one or something like she doesn't have anything like that. And number two is this int base is very strong. Um, Technically, she should be like in the same tier as Kana did, but like her, uh, yeah, we'll lower her actually. Uh, after I talked myself into this, she shouldn't be in the same tier as Kana did too. So, um, we do this. Yeah, there we go. That is worse. And there we go. that's our EN tier
Yep.
list. Think nothing else. I mean, these girls I'll move. Oh, I don't have to move anything. We'll do this and delete rows. Oh, not row. Yeah, delete rows. Delete rows. Okay. Um, and we're done with the tier list. So thanks for coming. If you have any questions, please ask. And as I fix this up, um, but yeah, I think that's where we're at. I might make minor changes here and there, as usual. But yeah, overall, if you're looking for good damage dealers, here's your best bet. Um, and if you're looking for supports, yeah, look for synergies. Don't look at this list and be like, yeah, this is what I want. No, no, just like actually look at synergies. You're gonna need to care about those. So worry about those. There we
Yeah, you
go.
don't want to put Diva and Admiral Lowy and also Bungo in the same team, typically, even though they're all at the top.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no problem. Um, Sometimes red is too busy, and so I try to time it with red, and red helps me like organize my thoughts and make sure I uh am not talking out of my bum. Pretty much. Um, Rem is I didn't invite Rem this time because it was on a very short notice, and he likes more longer notices, I think. Um, Not that Red doesn't either, but I like to annoy Red, so he gets annoyed by me.
Red White. I'm
Okay.
happy to join whenever.
Yeah. If you're looking for like uh if you need some questions or whatever, feel free to message me. Kind of. Wait, ooh, I messed this up. Um, Message me through Discord if you know my contact through main cord or something. If not, or fan cord. If not, then like Uh, if it's only YouTube, just go in the comment section. I do try to reply as soon as I can. Um, yeah. So like, please feel free if you don't see me on those Discord stuff or you don't want to join Discord, don't have it. Yeah. Like since this is YouTube, just put in the comment section. I try my best to reply as soon as I can. Sometimes I can't, or sometimes I forget. Feel free to bump your message. Um, I will be more free than I want to soon-ish. I do want a break from everything, so I'm gonna take a break from stuff, and I will promise to update this giant piece of work as best as I can. I know that towards the end I kind of stopped updating some stuff. I will try to get to it, um, and so yeah. Please look forward to it, and I will note when I do update those things um, on uh, on YouTube as well as on Discords as well. As I work on it, it's going to take some time, and it looks like some of these links broke, so I'll have to fix that for the most part. But yeah, tier list I always try to keep updated. Pull recommendations I keep updated as best as I can. And master skills, a new thing I added, noting which master skills I recommend getting. So anything kind of in uh, this vicinity is pretty solid, especially if you use the unit. If you don't use the unit, do not grab their skill. It's worthless. Um, this right here is basically telling you which SS was used or which ones this skill was used with. Otherwise, you might not, if not, don't need it at all. Depends. Um, and that's a thing. I did also add. I don't even know if Red knows this. On Koju Radio, I did add a section for if you really need to know about your SS1 selectors and which ones to choose, and which ones I recommend choosing. Do you know about this one?
No, I don't know about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is my recommendations for SS1 selector. Um, this first section is just for neutral units who don't care about elements, and down here is if you care about elements, what you would have, like, what you want to pick. Um, Not the most important thing in the world, but just something to like take a look at. Um, I will note that, in my opinion, I did write up here what I recommend brand new players to grab. If you don't have anything else, and you really need help, these are really nice units to have. So as you can see, if you don't have Aoi, probably the best pickup for you. This one is Yun. If you don't have Diva or a hit count buffer, you'll want her. If you don't have any crit, you'll you'll want Seda. But Seda you should be choosing from your tutorials. So like, yes. Um, Mua is for tactical vision slash mind eye, and then for early game, if you have these four, they'll basically carry you through early game. Um, but they aren't very good late game. They're not really good for end game content, but they will really make it much faster, much easier to get through things. Um, Later on, Kuda is a very good pickup, but not early game, just just later. And so these are just small things to that I added for people to work off of. Yeah, that's about it. Um, I'm gonna head off since I need to eat dinner, and then I think Red also needs to eat. So
Yep,
thanks for
I'll be
coming,
heading off.
and enjoy your time.
Good luck on Diva Pulse, everyone.
Yep, yeah. Good luck on Diva pools, everyone.